Jarek Hampel ended his nightmare run of form after transforming his season with an unforgettable 21-point maximum to win the penultimate round of the series at the Friends Arena, Stockholm. Arriving in the Swedish capital, all the talk was about the battle for the World Championship. Could Woffinden, Kasperzak, Zagar or Pedersen make an impact on the current leader Greg Hancock, who made a welcome return after missing Voyens through injury? Hancock, after having run a last in his first heat, soon picked up his race pace as the meeting progressed. Kasperzak and Zagar scored steadily throughout the night, whilst both Woffinden and Pedersen struggled. A welcome return to form for Australia's Chris Holder saw him score valuable points as he raced to secure his top 8 position in the world, an automatic qualification for the 2015 series. He'd join an unbeaten Hampel alongside Hancock and Kasperzak in the final. Hampel in red continued his domination as he led the other 3 finalists into the first corner with a lights-to-flag victory. The Polish racer had managed just 12 points in the previous 4 rounds, but he ended one of the most difficult spells of his career in spectacular style, romping to a sensational 7 wins at the Friends Arena. So as the World Championship reaches its final round, America's Greg Hancock leads the series by 12 points from Poland's Krzysztof Kasperzak. Defending world champion Ty Woffinden is a further 3 points adrift in third, with Zagar and Pedersen a respectable 4th and 5th. There's just 7 points between Holder in 6th and fellow countryman Batchelor in 11th for the race for the top 8 automatic qualification spots for 2015. So it's all to play for as the riders arrive in Torun for the final round of the championship.
It's nice to have a little bit of a cushion, but in this game and in this competition, the level you can never underestimate. So for me, I got to treat it like any other one. I'm going out there to take a lot of points.
I know Greg is a really good rider, good starter. He makes this 10 points, I think, no problem to him. Only I be focused, keep what I have now and make good races for me, and if you God give me, I get the medal in World Champions.
It probably isn't going to be this year. There's a chance that it can be, but it's very small. But any chance is a chance. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Hi there, welcome along to Torun, the magnificent Marianne Rose Arena here, and it's the Borrego Torun FIM Speedway Grand Prix of Poland, and what a magnificent venue we're at, round number 12. It all started in New Zealand back in April, and here we are now in Torun, ready for the action. It's all about Greg Hancock tonight, and whether he can just get the necessary points to get him over the line. He should do, but the battle for the silver and bronze is very much on as well, with Zagar and Pedersen breathing down Woffinden's neck, and the battle for the top 8 as well. So Kelvin Tatum alongside me as always this year in the Speedway GP. It is all set up beautifully for the final round of the year.
Absolutely right, Nigel. It's a fabulous occasion here in Torun. It's a beautiful stadium with a fantastic track. The stage is set perfectly. There's action at both bottom and top of the table. Greg Hancock, of course, will be desperate to secure the title as quickly as he can. We saw in Stockholm he had the resolve after a disappointing opening ride to bounce back with a fabulous performance and come away with a 12-point lead. But there's effectively 4 riders battling for 2 spots in the top 8 there, with Andreas Jonsson, Troy Batchelor, Freddie Lindgren, Jarek Hampel, all tripping over each other, desperate to try and secure their top 8 and their Grand Prix future. But no, a fabulous night of Speedway in front of us for sure.
Yeah, and interesting as well to see Maciej Janowski, who is going to be a Grand Prix rider next year. He's the man in the yellow helmet here.
Yeah.
He is going to be in the Grand Prix full-time next year. He's in tonight as a replacement, but also the fact that quite clearly he is looking for a good performance tonight to take forward into 2015. Just to confirm then the standings ahead of heat number 1.
Absolutely, yeah, it's terrific. Hancock there on 127 with Kasperzak chasing him down with 115. Pedersen, who's just run out of steam in recent Grand Prix, he just hasn't been able to find the form he required to really push for a rostrum result. Can never rule him out, but Freddie Lingman, that's an interesting 9th, 10th and 11th. That could well be plenty of action for that. Last minute changing's going on here for Zagar as well. Smolinski coming out here in Heat 1 as well, but it is a fantastic venue here. I've got to say, I can't emphasise enough. This is a purpose-built Speedway venue, and I can assure you all riders really look forward to racing here.
Well, it's been a good few days for the Speedway GP as well, because on Thursday it was announced that we will be going to Melbourne and the Etihad Stadium next October. And I know we have a lot of viewers in Australia. If you are in Australia watching this, then The early hours of the morning, then do try and get along to Melbourne next October if you can.
Good day.
And yesterday, yeah, good day. And yesterday, the Monster Energy renewal of that sponsorship arrangement announced yesterday as well. But here we go. The action is about to get underway. Here we go then with the lineup for the first race of the night. Matej Zagar goes off the inside in red with Nicky Pedersen going off gate 2 in blue. And off gate number 3 in white is Martin Smolinski with Maciej Janowski going off the outside. And both Zagar and Pedersen still in with a genuine shout of a place on the rostrum this year.
Yeah, and they want to get off to a flying start. Janowski, who has a nasty arm injury. He has 9 stitches in the top of his arm after a motocross accident last week. But he'll be desperate to put on a big performance tonight. Here we go.
Yeah, first race of the night. Krista Gardell, the referee, and Janowski has made an absolutely sensational start from gate number 4. The crowd are absolutely wild here. Janowski with the lead. Zagar is holding second with Nicky Pedersen third, and Smolinski is the man of the back. But Janowski looking good here, going into lap number 2, and Zagar is winding it on. There's big banking on the bends here at Torun. Zagar is hoping to make that count down the back straight. He's got lots of speed. Here he comes, and what a start to this meeting with some spectacular speedway, Calvin.
Indeed it is, and Zagar now fires himself to the front. Fabulous speedway from the Slovenian. Gotta say it was a supreme start from Janowski, but Zagar now gets himself to the front. Sensational speedway here in the opening race. Zagar, who's looking for a medal, wants a medal, looking like he's so really intent. Now Pedersen up the inside of Janowski, swaps it. Oh, Janowski's bike's packed up. But Zagar out in front, looking like he's going to win the opening race.
Yeah, Zagar on his way to 3 big points here. It's going to put him level with Woofenden in the World Championship in 3rd place on 112 points. Wow. And that was a lively old start, wasn't it?
I'll tell you what, that was a fabulous opening race. If that's what we're going to see this evening, we're going to be in for quite a treat. Sensational ride from Zagar, who had lots of speed. You just wonder whether Janowski, after a wonderful start from the outside, may have lost a little bit of power in his engine and got past, and then it bike packed up. He'll be desperately disappointed with that, but gotta say that that was a great statement of intent from Zagar. He's here and keen to get amongst the top 3. He wants a medal.
Yep, very much so. Zagar, the winner of heat number 1, then moves on to 112 points in the GP series. That's the same as Ty Woofenden, who holds 3rd place right now. This is the result of the first race. Zagar, Pedersen, Smolinski and Janowski did not finish the race, retired there in the opening race, but the track beautifully prepared, perfect shape, great banking on the bends, and as smooth as you like as well. Brilliant track preparation.
Absolutely, not a bank on, a bump on it rather, and you've got to say that Janowski makes initially a supreme start from the outside, and looks like he's got it all under control, but Zagar's using the outside run here, which is not always favourable earlier on. But he makes it work. He generates more and more momentum as the race gets to the middle part, and here he now squeezing around the outside. Janowski, a very fair rider, leaving him plenty of racing room around the outside, and the Slovenian then gets himself to the front. But gotta say that Janowski must have had some issues here, because he suddenly slows, and that allows Pedersen up the inside, and now suddenly the bike just gives up. There it is, and he'll be absolutely gutted, because they started so well. And of course, Pedersen and then Smolinski inheriting points there because of the engine failure to Janowski. But Zagar, a great start.
Greg Hancock's out in this race. He's off the inside gate. He needs 10 points to be crowned world champion tonight. And any points that Christoph Kasperzak or Ty Woofenden drops, of course, that target comes down, with Greg Hancock going off the inside in red here. Now, Troy Batchelor, he's on 85 points. He's got riders above him on 87, and Jonsson on 86. The top 8 is what we're talking about here. Yeah. Kenneth Bier off 3, and Andreas Jonsson, who's on 86 points. Now, if you do finish in the top 8 in the World Championship, you are secure in the series for the following year. Lots of agendas here tonight.
There are, and Troy Batchelor's been battling very hard. Andreas Jonsson's an interesting one, because he has had a desperate season, but then winning in Voyens, it seems to have reinvigorated him, and then subsequently has been in a really rich vein of form. And Jonsson on the outside here, keep an eye out for him.
Here we go. Greg Hancock off the inside gate has made a trademark start, as you would expect. 3 points perhaps towards his target to become world champion. Jonsson squeezes out Bachelor, who was third there. Kenneth Pierre at the back, but the old master, Greg Herbie Hancock, goes into lap 2 with the race under control.
He does indeed, and he would have been happy to have had the in-start for his first race here tonight, and an excellent start from him. Jonsson looks threatening. Good first corner from Jonsson, who missed the start from the outside, but shot back to the inside coming off the first turn, and is right there. Bachelor was past. He got squeezed out down the back straight early doors, but look at that majestic style from the American out in front. Greg Herbie Hancock, immaculate as always.
Yeah, absolutely, and it could well be one of the greatest achievements in the history of Speedway. Yeah. To see Greg Hancock at this age crowned world champion. He's taking a huge step towards it now. Into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. He's got his family here in the stadium tonight. All his family watching on, and Hancock with 3 big points. Magnificent from Greg Hancock from gate number 1. There's Team Hancock, the family and friends that are in the stadium to support him tonight. He won't hang around, I'm sure. He'll just acknowledge his family and then return to the pits area, because he knows that he's still got a little bit of work to do. But my goodness, it is going to be a special night tonight, you feel, for a very special Speedway rider. Just to confirm, heat number 2, the result was Greg Hancock off gate number 1, Andreas Jonsson there finishing in 2nd place, with Troy Bachelor 3rd, and Kenneth Pierre trailed in at the back. But what a start from Greg Hancock.
And no surprise to see that. The inside gate is probably his favourite, and he makes hay here. He gets to the first corner comfortably in front, dominates the first corner. Great move from Jonsson, because he missed the start from the outside, slams the door shut to stop that run from Troy Bachelor. First time of asking down the back straight. You see it here now. Jonsson has plenty of racing room for him, and he knows how important every point is here, because those 2 boys in 2nd and 3rd are battling for their futures in the Grand Prix. But Greg Hancock now 3 points closer to that 3rd world title. Majestic out in front, belying the nerves. There's no questions he would have had a few butterflies in his tummy. The team delighted, and that's the perfect way for him to start this evening.
Yeah, he needed 10 points, and that's with Kasper Zak scoring a maximum, by the way.
Yeah.
He's now 7 points away as things stand after 2 heats of tonight's meeting. He won the world title in 1997. He then won it again in 2011, and here we are in 2014. And by the way, the good news is he did give interviews yesterday confirming he's got no desire to pack it all up and retire as world champion. He wants to carry on.
And when you ride as well as he does, and he stays out of trouble by and large. He had that nasty incident. We see now 130 for Hancock after that win, stretching the lead. Kasper Zak's up now with Ty Wolfenden off the inside. Hampel, of course. We've got 3 Polish riders here. This could be quite exciting, because they generally don't give themselves... There's no love lost when they come head-to-head in an individual event.
Yep, Ty Wolfenden off the inside. Adrian Madzinski, a winner here last year as the wild card on a sensational night.
Yeah.
Christoph Kasper Zak off 3. Jarek Hampel off the outside. Wolfenden, who is likely to be tonight the outgoing world champion. What a year it's been for that young man, and he's got another, 15, 20 years to do it all over again.
Well, when you look at Hancock at 44, he's got 20 years ahead of him, hasn't he? So he's got all the time in the world. But yeah, there's no question that Wolfenden's the real deal, and he will be back. And I get the feeling he'd love to go out on a high here this evening and get a silver medal.
Here we go, heat number 3. Madzinski's made a good one off gate number 2. Can Wolfenden pick up some speed? Yes, he can, but Kasper Zak is there in white. Kasper Zak goes wide around the outside, and now Madzinski around the outside of Ty Wolfenden. They've collected handlebars down the back straight.
Nigel, that could have been an awful lot worse. They got off the bikes. It was a high-speed incident, but they didn't tumble, no high-siding. But Wolfenden and Madzinski just collecting each other down that back straight. Wolfenden trying to get out from underneath the air fence, but my instinct is that both riders will be okay, but it could have been an awful lot worse.
Well, Wolfenden's up on his feet. Yeah, that's good to see.
Interesting to see what the referee, Krista Gardell, goes with here, because somebody's got to be excluded, unfortunately. But Madzinski there having a few words with his helmet off.
I don't think Wolfenden's too happy with Madzinski there.
No, because he feels he got carved up down the back straight. Let's watch it again. Level pegging towards the first corner. Kasper Zak gets a lovely round around the middle part of the track. He's clear. Now, Wolfenden on the inside. Madzinski coming across. Handlebars clash. I tell you, with no real intent there, just a racing incident. And I tell you what, that's going to be a really difficult call for the referee. This angle may be easier. He's leaning onto him. Mazinski leans into Woofenden there. Got to say, he may have been the catalyst, Nige.
I think this is a nightmare call for any referee.
No question. I'm really struggling to say...
Mazinski has gone.
Yeah, maybe because he's leaning into Woofenden and that creates the issue, and that's probably why he's gone that way, but that's a tough call.
So Woofenden will need some time to recover, and the bike as well.
Well, they
need some
both
time.
got away with that, Nigel, because that could have been, you know, that could have been nasty. Mazinski, after a wonderful win here last year as a wild card, and he's a crowd favourite, home rider, of course, and they're both following each other back into the paddock. Not a lot of love lost there, I think. Mazinski will be frustrated with that, but he has 4 more opportunities to make the semi-final, but you can just see the body language and the chat with the mechanic that...
Yeah.
He felt he had the run going into the corner, but as I said, the referee has to exclude somebody because it's past the first turn.
Meanwhile, Mr. Kasperzak missed all the drama. Looked good.
Pressure on for Kasperzak. He can't afford to drop a point. He's just witnessed the World Championship leader Hancock win his opening ride, so you know, Kasperzak responds brilliantly here. He gets the run through the first turn, middle of the track, a little bit more grip there, and that just slingshots down to that. But now as he comes there, he feels he's got the run. It's a difficult call. It really is. Really and truly, you feel that both riders should. It's a racing incident, and it's kind of hard on either one to go. But Mazinski feels that he has the right to come across, but unfortunately, Woofenden is there.
Somebody has to go.
He does, yeah.
Krista Gardell clearly feels that Mazinski has lent on Woofenden, and that's what's caused a stoppage of the race here.
Well, he did, and that angle probably is the most damning for Mazinski.
So it's the right decision then, Kelv?
It is, but as I say, it's not one that I would relish making. You can see that...
yeah, 1 or 2 sarcastic remarks there, I think.
Yeah, you know, emotions high, first race, adrenaline pumping through your veins. And, you know, Woofenden wants a silver medal, you know, and he knows he needs a big performance here this evening. Stockholm didn't go as well as he would have liked. Admitted publicly that they'd made mistakes that evening. So I know he's a proud man. The World Championship is slipping away from him. And, you know, the next best is a silver medal. So, you know, a win here this evening and a whole hatful of points to secure second place in the World Championship is what he's after.
KK, though, is on 115 points. Now we have Woofenden on 112 and Zagar on 112. Yeah,
Zagar's had a decent season, won actually at the expense of Woofenden in Finland earlier this year, and that was a bit of it was a last corner mistake by Woofy that just allowed Zagar through to win his first Grand Prix, but that was actually the beginning of the return of form for the world champion after a disappointing start. But, you know, I've got to say that he's been a credit to the sport this year, Woofenden. He's taken on a huge workload and possibly too much. If there's one criticism you could level at Ty this year, then maybe just overextended himself at times. But generally, he's been a credit to the sport, and he's raised the profile of the sport in the UK, no question. And you know, all credit to him. But he'll be back. We've said he's young. He's a real deal. He'll want to win a world championship again.
You'll notice on the race jackets tonight, by the way, they have the Etihad Stadium logo on their race jackets this evening. Melbourne 2015, for the first time, the Speedway GP will go to that magnificent venue.
How exciting is that?
On the 24th of October, the Etihad Stadium on the banks of the River Yarra in that magnificent sporting city of Melbourne.
Yeah.
Great way to round off next year's series.
I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's the sporting capital of Australia, and they have all sorts of major events there, and Speedway now going down under once again is fantastic. You know, with the class of Australian riders in the recent past is fabulous. Lee Adams, Jason Crump, you know, Todd Wiltshire, Ryan Sullivan. You know, now you've got Chris Holder, Darcy Ward, Jason Doyle's a fully fledged Grand Prix rider for next year, Nigel. You know, it's right that we're going to that part of the world, and those guys have an opportunity for a home Grand Prix.
Yeah, and they deserve that.
They do indeed, and you know, all credit to riders like Jason Crump, who was a multiple world champion without a home Grand Prix, had to do it away from home all the time.
Same applies to Greg Hancock, although Sweden is home from him right now. But that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Grand Prix in California. Maybe that's one to ponder for the future.
I quite fancy California nights, you know, a bit of sunshine.
Who wouldn't? Right. Heat number 3 then, and here we go. With the restart, we see Kasprzak, who looks very calm, very composed, and very confident as well.
He's made the last 5 finals, and that is an achievement in itself. And Kasprzak, who has at times has imploded with the pressure, has put too much pressure on himself, and has had some sport psychology this year that he's, without question, has benefited from, and that's in him. Well, he had a comfortable lead after a couple of rounds, and then had that knee injury and missed a round, but Kasprzak has done himself credit this year.
Woffenden off the inside then, no rider off gate number 2. It's Christoph Kasprzak going off gate number 3, and Jarek Hampel going off the outside. A sensational win last time out, with a 21-point maximum to propel himself into the top 8.
That was marvellous,
He was nowhere
wasn't it?
to be seen. It was a staggering performance with poor displays, and now 21 points has propelled himself into the top 8.
Yeah, and you know, he was 13 points outside the top 8 going into Stockholm, and anybody who picked him or put money on him to win that night were very brave, because nothing suggested that there was going to have that sort of turnaround. But by golly, did he ride well, and fully deserved to win the Grand Prix.
Here we go then, second time of asking, and I think also with Hampel's performance, it's, if he does get into the top 8, it might save the organisers a real headache in terms of picking the 4 wildcards.
There we go, Nigel.
Yep, Woffenden off the inside then. Now Hampel is going to try and come around the outside. Kasprzak is third. Hampel has that lead now. Woffenden is second, but Kasprzak has got loads of speed, and he's going to dive on the inside of Woffenden. And now it's a Polish 1-2. Jarek Hampel with the lead. Christoph Kasprzak second. Woffenden looking and trying to calculate his next move, and he doesn't quite seem to have the speed. It's Hampel, Kasprzak, and Woffenden.
Yeah, great start from Hampel, and Hampel's doing Hancock a favour here, because if he can lower the colours of Kasprzak, of course that makes the job just that little bit easier for Greg Hancock to secure his 3rd World Championship. Hampel now picking up where he left off 2 weeks ago by winning races. This will be his 8th Grand Prix heat win, of course, on the spin. Jarek Hampel, the world number 2, riding like a world number 2. Got to say that Woffenden's just a little tailed off here, and that's disappointing for the world champion, but Hampel, fabulous.
Yeah, great stuff from Jarek Hampel here, has that advantage. This now means that Greg Hancock needs only 6 points to be world champion. Kasprzak has dropped a point there, and Jarek Hampel has done his chances of a top 8 finish the world of good. It's moved him on to 90 points now here tonight with that victory. 90 points overall in the World Championship standings. Kasprzak with a couple of points now moves on to 1-1-7, and Woffenden is on 1-1-3, just a point ahead of Zagar. Could we see a runoff for one of the issues tonight?
Hampel, you wouldn't better get it.
Absolutely. Hampel, Kasprzak and Woffenden the finishing order. Medzinski, of course, disqualified from that race, but what a ride from Jarek Hampel, because he didn't make it first time out.
No, he didn't, and he took the opportunity second time of asking. We often see this with Kasprzak initially in front. He'll be gutted because he'd made such a great first turn first time out, but you know, it's often the case where second time of asking, and Hampel, in the form he's in, you know, he's irresistible. Kasprzak was fast in second place, no question about it, but Woffenden just couldn't resist that charge down the back straight early doors, and the 2 poles then push away. You've got to say that this track really suits the Polish style of riding, and Jarek Hampel, 8 Grand Prix heat wins in succession. That is an achievement in itself, and Jarek, to his eternal credit, has bounced back from a dreadful run of form, and he's looking good once again.
Yeah, brilliant from Jarek Hampel then, 90 points, and
great.
3 ahead of Fredrik Lindgren right now, who is still to come here in heat number 4, and Andreas Jonsson is on 88, so Hampel a couple of points clear, still with work to do. A reminder, you can have a runoff at the end of a season only for positions 1, 2 or 3, and also for a top 8 if there's riders level for 8th place to qualify for next year's series. It goes down to a one-off runoff.
Yeah, we've had it a couple of times, and Gelsenkirchen a few years ago when Harris actually was involved, he got excluded. Scott Nichols was in that race as well. But yeah, we haven't seen it for some time, so there could well be some drama right at the end of this evening, where riders, particularly for battling for their Grand Prix survival, will be going head-to-head. We shall see.
Yeah, and here we have heat number 4. Chris Holder on 93, looking good for next year now.
Fair play.
Chris Harris, we know, is in next year as a Grand Prix Challenge qualifier. What an effort that was in Lonigo from Chris. It's Freddie Lindgren off the inside in red. Chris Holder goes off gate number 2 in blue. Chris Harris gate 3 in white. And Michael Jepsen Jensen who has enjoyed a good run in the GP series this year. He goes off the outside.
He has, and he's done himself no harm at all. He's a Grand Prix winner, of course. Hasn't quite recaptured that form, but he's been pretty solid in the opportunities he's had.
Here we go, heat number 4. Lindgren's made a good one off the inside gate. Oh, and it's very tight in that first turn, and Harris has switched up the inside. Watch out for Holder now. How did he spot that gap? That was unbelievable from Chris Holder. He made his mind up that that's what he was going to do, and now Lindgren, 3 abreast. He's still in the back.
Oh! Nasty crash. Jepsen Jensen and Lindgren coming down, going into the first corner, second time of asking. What a move on the opening lap from Chris Holder. Just shows you what a bit of confidence can do for a man. Winning last weekend in the Czech Republic, the big open meeting, the golden helmet there in Pardubice. Absolutely like a knife through butter down the back straight. But that was a heavy incident there. Jepsen Jensen, there's concern for him.
Yeah, that was awful. Absolutely awful. And the boys were just going for it, hammer and tongue.
Were they ever?
I mean, that is dreadful. Fingers crossed.
High speed, really going hard at the end of the first lap at the start of the second lap. And Lindgren walks away. He got beaten up there after a great start, but didn't have the speed early in the race. Holder had made that fabulous move down the back straight, just literally carving through the opposition and to fire himself to the front, and then that spectacular crash. And quite obviously, we're not going to see replays until we know that Jepsen Jensen is okay, because there's no question that there's a concern over the Danish rider, because he crashed hard.
Well,
this game is hard, isn't it? It's a
Yeah.
tough sport, Speedway, and we see riders pick themselves up, and so often after high-speed incidences. And I'll keep my fingers crossed, because Jepsen Jensen was looking good there, and he was charging through. And he's hit the track hard.
Yeah, and he's sat up, as we see from the pictures there. Let's hope that that's an encouraging sign. Fingers crossed, because that was
waving
a
for the ambulance to
crash.
come on,
yeah,
Nigel.
The ambulance is coming on, yeah. But yeah, that's part and parcel of Speedway. It was hard racing. Perhaps not appropriate to comment too much upon it at this stage, because we hope that Michael Jepsen Jensen is going to be okay. The referee is Christer Gardell. No decision announced as yet.
Well, we can see the referee. He's waiting for replays. He may be studying them as we speak, but rightly, we're not showing replays yet, because when you see such a high-speed accident like that, you want to make sure that the rider's okay.
Very much so.
You know, there is concern for Jepsen Jensen. We were just talking about him just before the race started, how well he's done on his appearances this year. Ashley Holloway in there. He's had a lot of success, of course, prior with Emil Saifutinov, and he's now in the corner with Freddie Lindgren. He is another rider that's fighting for his life here.
Yeah.
For his Grand Prix future.
This is great to see. Michael Jepsen Jensen
Delighted.
up on his feet.
Absolutely delighted, because here we see it now. So they've all come into the end of the first lap. Holder in front, 3 abreast almost. Lindgren up the inside. Jepsen Jensen just pulls a bit of a locker there. Yeah, it kills his speed. And got to say, that's a racing incident. Got to say, Jepsen Jensen just pulling that locker, and Freddie Lindgren, who's looking for a little bit of racing room on the inside. This is it. Jepsen Jensen's bike just locks up, and the footrest, the right footrest of Freddie Lindgren just hooks underneath Jepsen Jensen. See it now. Jepsen Jensen pulls a locker there, loses momentum, and you're pulling. God, that's hard. How fortunate. There, he pulls a locker, and that kills the momentum of the bike. And got to say, Freddie Lindgren really has no choice. He can't get out of the way.
Well, Fredrik Lindgren is the man who is disqualified, deemed to be the primary cause of the stoppage. That is a blow for him.
Again, Nigel, I've got to say, to jump across you, mate, but that's another situation when it's a racing incident and a very difficult decision for Christer Gardell. Obviously, Lindgren has caused the stoppage, but it was created by the fact that they were so close, they're racing really hard, and Jepsen Jensen's bike just pulls that locker. And what I mean by that, the bike just momentarily slows right down underneath him, and Lindgren can't stop the bike. You know, no brakes on a Speedway bike. And I'm just relieved that both riders look like they're okay, which is good news.
Yeah, we're told that Jepsen Jensen feels a little bit dizzy, which is understandable.
I think that's a result.
These boys are tough people.
It's a hard game, and you know, these guys are riding 3-4 nights a week. You know, this is not just, they don't just ride once a fortnight. They'll be riding tomorrow, and generally through the summer they ride, you know, if there's 31 days in a month, they could ride 20, 29 times. So it is a tough game, and you're travelling around a lot, and, you know, you're putting your body on the line all the time. So Freddie Lingman, of course, is fighting for 2015. He needs points this evening if he wants to be in a Grand Prix next year.
He looks into be a little bit of discomfort as well, Kelvin.
No surprise, because,
yeah.
you know, when they clout each other here, bang. Jepsen Jensen, how on earth he hasn't broken his collarbone there or dislocated his shoulder when you go over the high side there. Here, you just see here, watch the bike from Jepsen Jensen. Now, the bike just locks up and momentarily loses a sufficient speed, and Lindgren's got nowhere to go.
So there was nothing Freddie Lindgren could have done to avoid that at all?
Absolutely no way, because he can't get out of the way. Can't get out of the way, and that is dramatic in the
Pure
extreme.
racing incident.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And you watch the right footrest here. Front wheels collect each other and then pushed over. The right-hand footrest of Jepsen Jensen digs in, and there now. How on earth? He's probably a dizzy because his head's hit the ground first, but that's probably saved his collarbone.
Looks awful, and everybody knew it in the stadium. Let's hope that he's going to be okay. Of course, there will be a bit of time now to allow Michael Jepsen Jensen to...
He had a nasty incident at the beginning of the year where he had a thigh and groin injury, which really took its toll, and he's been riding well, but he's going to feel second-hand after that one, that's for sure. And now Freddie Lindgren has, unfortunately for him, his job is harder now because he's lost the opportunity to score in his first race. He's just seen Andreas Jonsson pick up points in his first race, of course. And that battle for the top 8, I tell you, that is tense, with a capital T. Really is tense.
Yeah, Jonsson's now on 88, Lindgren's on 87, Bachelor's on 86, and Jari Campbell is on 90. So,
well, Hampel's going the right way, isn't he?
Absolutely.
He's really like, you know, coming into this meeting on a high. He's won his first ride in fine style. Jonsson, Bachelor, Lindgren, all. Iversen, unfortunately for him, he's not here, and he will gently slip down the order. He'll come out of the top 8 this evening.
well, it's going to be a replacement then, yeah.
Pavel Szapelski, we haven't seen him ride, but this is a rider, Nige, whose stature in the sport is growing dramatically. He's another young Polish rider that is highly rated. Another rider with a neck brace. We see that. That's becoming more popular now. Youngsters using that, but Lindgren looks like he's in a little bit of discomfort there.
Jepsen Jensen then, he's going to have to go and have...
Tell you what, he doesn't look like he knows where he is.
Understandable. Absolutely understandable. Freddie in a lot of pain as well. So, fingers crossed that Freddie Lindgren's going to be okay. But we're hearing news of a collarbone for Michael Jepsen Jensen.
When you see the high side, that it's the most common injury that riders sustain when that happens, and wouldn't surprise me at all. It's a dislocated shoulder or a broken collarbone that often happens when the bike gets pitched over. The right-hand footrest on a speedway bike is very close to the ground and it's very wide, and it digs in the surface when the bike gets pitched over, like it happened there, and you then get catapulted into the track, which is like concrete at that speed. And yeah, fingers crossed for him, but you know, he's had a pretty good run, but not the ideal start for him this evening.
No, absolutely. It's Michael Jepsen Jensen's 9th Grand Prix tonight.
Yeah, and just talking about injuries, how the attrition rate this year has been pretty high, hasn't it? When you look at the top riders, they've all missed Grand Prix. Hancock has, the first time in his career, has missed the Grand Prix in Voyens. Kasperzak, of course, earlier this year missed out a Grand Prix with that knee ligament damage. Woofenden did, couldn't make it earlier this year. So it's been a tough season for injury.
It has, and Niels Christian Iversen's season ended by injury. Knee ligament damage, we wish him well. Chris Harris, who was really getting stuck in there, well and truly on the pace.
Yeah, I'm sure Chris, who's had a disappointing time in the Grand Prix, would like to finish with a good result this evening. He's a fully fledged Grand Prix rider for next year, qualifying through the Grand Prix Challenge in Lonigo a week or two ago, and got to say that, you know, I wish him all the best for next year, but Chris has got to find something to improve his performance, because riding at this level, missing out every fortnight can't be easy for you, and it affects you. It affects you for your other racing as well, and you know, it can be a vicious circle because you start throwing money at it, and if it doesn't turn around for you, it can be quite depressing, because the difference between winning and losing at this level is absolutely minuscule.
Yeah. We are hearing, by the way, confirmed from the medical room that Michael Jepsen-Jensen has suffered a broken collarbone.
That's a shame.
We wish him well. I would.
Could have been worse, couldn't it,
I was
though?
just going to say that. It could have been worse. After that landing, it was horrendous. He'll get that right over the next few weeks, and he'll be fighting fit for the start of next season. So here we have Szpilski then, Pavel Szpilski, a talented young rider. This is Chris Holder in blue, who was charging through there. Chris Harris in white, and Pavel Szpilski, his first ever GP ride for the man in the yellow helmet colour. Big moment for him.
It is, and as I say, they've got loads and loads of riders at under 21 level here in Poland. They put a lot of store in it, and he's another young rider that's coming through the ranks, like a Bartosz Szmarzlik, a Piotr Pawlicki. Of course, he is now the reigning under 21 world champion. They really do focus in on it. The association put a lot of store in their youngsters performing at a very high level, and Szpilski will be relishing this. Knows this track, of course, very well, rides here. And it wouldn't surprise me if he picks up some points.
Beauty of this stadium is that you can come here any time and just practice. The Torun riders, they can just come here for practice. You know, I know that Torun riders based in the UK, like Darcy Ward, Chris Holder, they have actually flown out here specifically to do testing of machines, and that's the facility that they've got here. It's a great facility to have.
It is indeed, and you're so right, because they have the opportunity. You know, Speedway's in the culture here, that helps, but there's no doubt that the facilities here are just second to none.
No rider off the inside, Chris Holder off 2, Chris Harris off 3, and Pavel Szpilski going off the outside in the yellow helmet colour. Here we go, heat number 4, second time of asking, and they're away. Chris Harris has made a good run off 3, but Holder is there, and now Szpilski around the outside leans on Harris. He looks quick, the young boy, and now he's going to charge up the inside of Chris Holder.
Szpilski comes charging up the inside of the former world champion Holder, takes him out and fights himself to the front. Absolutely no respect for reputations there on the opening lap from the youngster. Fabulous ride, the crowd are on their feet, they're loving that. Holder in second place. Now Harris, has he got anything in third? But Szpilski coming in for his first ride in Grand Prix Speedway. Can he win it?
Well, what a ride this is from Szpilski. Knows every inch of this track, of course, we have to say that. But he looks super quick as well. Szpilski now with that lead. Chris Holder is hanging on to second with Chris Harris hunting him down. But Szpilski is about to make a fairy tale start to life as a GP rider, albeit as a reserve tonight. But let's listen to the roar of the Torun crowd. Szpilski!
What a ride from Pavel Szpilski, being seventh heaven about that. Very determined, forthright move on the opening lap down the back straight early doors. Got the better of Holder, they shake hands there. They're, of course, teammates here in the extra league in Poland. But, by golly, that was a ride. And the home crowd here are delighted with that. Nigel, that, as I say, they've got lots of good youngsters. We've just seen another one.
Brilliant effort. Szpilski the winner then. Second place went to Chris Holder. Chris Harris was third. Lindgren disqualified, of course, but the reserve Szpilski, a win in his opening ride, and Greg Hancock now 6 points from being world champion.
Well, this was an outstanding ride from Szpilski. I've got to say, you know, he initially made a decent start from the outside, and he has to work harder. Early doors, he has to work hard to get the better of Harris, who made a good start from gate 3. Look, hustles the bike round that first corner, and then he comes roaring down the back straight and just dives up the inside as they go into turn 3 on the opening lap to get the better of Holder, who probably could not believe it, because Holder here has got fresh air, dominates the first corner. Here comes the youngster. Love the style. Look at that. That is quite spectacular. Now watch this. This is spectacular in the extreme. Charging down the back straight, allows the bike to come up the inside of Holder, who can't believe it. Allows the bike to just run across it. He's ruthless, absolutely ruthless. No respect for the former world champion there from Australia. And Szpilski starts in fine style. Tell you what, they have got some youngsters, haven't they, the Poles?
But it's a massive speedway town. You only have to walk around the town centre here in Torun, and it's a massive speedway presence. There was actually on the day today in Torun town centre, there was a big stage, and Adrian Mudzinski was making an appearance in the town centre.
Szpilski was there as well.
Yes, he was. And, you know, terrific promotion of the sport. And here, when they ride in the Polish League, It is absolutely buzzing for Speedway here at this venue, and we're delighted to be here as well for the final round of the year. It's been a dramatic opening 4 heats, and obviously marred by that crash, Jepsen Jensen with a broken collarbone, but the race for the world title, Hancock getting closer.
Yeah, it was you know, a perfect start for Greg, and then with Kasperzak dropping a point, that makes the job just a little easier. 6 points from 4 rides. You'd probably think he'll get the deal done by the time we get to the semi-finals. I'm sure he'll be desperate to do so, and I'm sure, you know, the family here in attendance. Do you know what? I didn't even know he had a brother, and the fact is that he's turned up this evening is quite significant. You know, his wife and his children here. It will be a very emotional time, I believe, for them if he can do it. What he's put himself through with the hand injury is remarkable in itself. You know, and he got that 12-point lead coming away from Stockholm 2 weeks ago that showed tremendous determination and character after failing to score first time out. So, yeah, fair play to Hancock. And another great ride also from Hampel Nige, who is not without definite, he's turned a corner.
Yep, very much so. Let's head down to the pits and hear from Chris Holder with Chris Louis.
Chris, 2 points in the race for the top 8. That's an important 2 points to open up with.
Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, it's good to get a couple of points, and would have been nice to have won, but yeah, got rerun and then couldn't cover enough of the track that first lap. And
can you just check with Burb what he thinks Greg needs?
Pavel was not taking any prisoners, really racing hard out there on the track he knows very well.
Yeah, we're not teammates today, so he can do that.
Okay.
But,
what about?
Yeah, he's going really fast,
I agree
and I just
with
didn't
that.
want to wash off too much speed, so I tried to keep it going. And
what about a third?
Yeah, he got under me there, and like I said, let me have it. So
yes.
We'll see.
Plenty of room out there here at Torun. The track conditions look absolutely perfect right now.
Yeah, they are. It's already on the fence, which is pretty cool, but hopefully they keep bringing it back, because otherwise it's going to get a bit one line. But yeah, the track's looking really nice for the first 4 heats to be that sort of race. That's good.
Thanks, Chris.
No worries.
Good stuff then from Chris Holder. 95 points for him, and he's 8 clear now of the battle for the top 8. Freddie Lindgren on 87, level with Niels Christian Iversen. You've got Andreas Jonsson on 88 and Troy Batchelor on 86. So it's 7 clear of Andreas Jonsson for Chris Holder, which is a good effort from him. Former world champion, won here on this track 2 years ago, of course, where he lifted the world championship. Here's the battle now. Greg Hancock, Christoph Kasperzak, who's in this race, Ty Woffenden on 113, and Matti Zegar on 112.
Yeah,
big
good
race
looking
coming
lineup.
up.
Yeah, it's a really big race coming up, and you know, Greg Hancock will be keen to continue on. Coming out of gate 3, it'll be interesting to see how he copes with that, with, of course, his closest competitor to him, Kasperzak, who dropped a point. He'll be really keen to try and get one over the World Championship leader. Won't be a disaster, of course, if Greg drops a point here, but just will possibly prolong his opportunity of sealing his 3rd World Championship. But, yeah, it's all very well having a 12-point lead coming into a meeting like this, but you've still got to do it, and that will weigh heavy on him. But this man has been, at 44 years of age, has ridden supremely well, and he has the ability of this consistency, even when he has a poor ride. You know, how often this year have we seen him turn it around and come out and win the next one? So, you know, if he wins here this evening and clinches his 3rd World Championship, I guarantee you there'll be nobody in here, nobody in the world of Speedway that will begrudge him winning his 3rd World Championship. He is Mr. Nice Guy and fully deserves it.
Well, Oscar Pfeiffer is the man who will come in red here. He's the 2nd reserve in for Michael Jepsen Jensen.
He's got quite an act to follow, hasn't he?
That's after Schapelski, yeah.
Schapelski's kind of put the pressure on him, because Oscar Pfeiffer, another youngster who is a Torun boy, and he's going off the inside, but he's got some quality opposition. This is a pretty tough race to come out in, but I've got to say that Schapelski was pretty impressive when he got the better of Holder in the previous ride.
Here we go then with heat number 5. It's Oscar Pfeiffer with his first ever Grand Prix race off the inside in for Jepsen Jensen. Matti Zegar chasing a medal tonight off gate number 2. Greg Hancock He's off gate number 3, and his nearest rival, Krzysztof Kasperzak, is off the outside. Now, Greg can be crowned world champion in this race. If he wins it and Kasperzak finishes last, Greg Hancock will be officially crowned world champion.
Well, you know, it's you can't see it, Kasperzak finishing last, but, you know, engine failures can happen. He could miss the start and get tailed off. But, yeah, scenarios now will change heat by heat. Hancock on gate 3, he'll be just focusing on trying to pick up 3 points.
Here we go, heat number 5. What a start from Greg Hancock. There's nothing going to stop him tonight, is there? Kasperzak is second, and now, I do apologise, it's Zagar second. Kasperzak is challenging for second, and the reserve at the back, Pfeiffer right now. But Greg Hancock is simply sensational, and Kasperzak now charges up the inside of Matti Zagar, who returns the compliment here for second place. And now Kasperzak comes back for more.
Oh.
What a race!
Fabulous race. Now Kasperzak gets to second place, Nigel. What a start from the championship leader. Gotta say, that was jet propelled out of gate 3. It's showing a clean pair of heels to Kasperzak and Zagar, who are challenging. But Hancock, majestic out in front, started this evening in fast style. He's now picking up the pace, dominating his second ride, looking fabulous out in front. Kasperzak in second place, cannot do anything about him.
Well, Hancock won't quite win the world title mathematically here. There's stars and stripes being waved over on the far side where the Hancock family are. He's almost there. He is almost there. Greg Hancock with 3 big points there and 2 for Krzysztof Kasperzak. That is a brilliant, brilliant effort, but Hancock not quite there. Almost is within touching distance. His family know it as well.
Yeah.
And he is just immaculate here this evening.
He is indeed. That was a majestic ride.
Yep, Hancock the winner, Kasperzak second, Zagar was third, Pfeiffer at the back. And this is what it means overall now. Greg Hancock leads on 6 points. He's doing it in style, isn't he? Zagar with 4 points right now, and Kasperzak on 4 as well. But, well, no messing from Greg Hancock. He wants to get on with it.
He does. He wants to get it done as early as he possibly can, and to do that you need to win races, and he's won his 2 races so far. This was a very competitive lineup here, but he makes light of it. All the pressure of trying to secure your 3rd world title, and he is in a different class. These 2 lads here, Zagar and Kasperzak, have a fine race here for second place, with Kasperzak finally getting the better of the Slovenian and stamping his authority on second place. But look at Hancock, while they're tripping each other up, these boys are doing Hancock a favour, because he's just cleared off out in front and won the race in fine style. 6 out of 6 for Hancock. Good racing here for second and third, entertaining the crowd. But this man looks like it's not going to be too much longer. Of course, his supporters are delighted with the way he's riding. And it won't be too much long before I'm sure he'll be crowned world champion for 2014. Yep. Immaculate. Absolutely immaculate.
Yep, 2 more points, I reckon. 2 points for sure.
Yeah, and with the evidence of his first 2 rides, that should be fairly straightforward for him. You know, he's picked up 6 from his first 2. He's just, you know, after that first ride in Stockholm, you'd be thinking, oh, is the hand hurting him? He then gets 11 from the next 4 nights and walked away with a 12-point lead after Stockholm. But tonight, fitter, looking hungry, handling the pressure supremely well.
Here we go with heat number 6, Chris Holder off the inside, with Ty Woffenden, the outgoing world champion, off gate number 2. Gate number 3 is Nicky Pedersen, and Kenneth Bier is going off the outside. So here we go, and we can now officially say that Ty Woffenden's reign as world champion is over. It's been a wonderful year. He's been a great world champion.
He has. He's been a credit to the sport, and I know that he'll be back for more, and I'm sure he'd like to finish with a really big display here tonight. Just didn't have the pace in the first one, and he's going to need to have it here, because there's some hard charges in this race, and Holder on the inside who's full of confidence. So Ty, I'm sure, wants a silver medal, so he's going to have to start winning races.
Here we go, heat number 6, and Holder's made a good start off the inside, and now Woffenden will try the switch, so will Bier. Woffenden is there, watch out for Pedersen in white, 3 abreast down the back straight. Woffenden just gets off the gas. It's Holder with the lead. Nicky Pedersen is second, Ty Woffenden is third right now, and Kenneth Bier is at the back, and Woffenden's gone right. That allows Bier an opportunity now.
It does, but once again, Chris Holder looks like he's full of confidence, because that was a brave move he made initially down the back straight to get the better of the opposition and got himself to the front. Woffenden's lacking a little bit of pace here this evening, and that's a surprise. Generally, he has a lot of speed, but he's getting tailed off in third place, and that's disappointing for the outgoing world champion. Pedersen's solid in second place, but Holder, after being carved up by a reserve, Szapelski in his first ride, looking strong here in his second one.
Yeah, Chris Holder kicking on and set fair for the top 8, no problem at all. He's a Torun rider in the Polish league, feels at home here. It's Holder from Nicky Pedersen, from Ty Woffenden, and Kenneth Bier struggling at the back, but of course he has had his injury problems with that shoulder. Perfectly understandable, but Chris Holder, what a performance, absolutely flying. Super ride from him, gets the better of Nicky. Of course, our memories go back 2 years to when Chris and Nicky had that ding-dong for the world title, and Jason Crump had to get involved and calm Chris down. That was a couple of years ago now, and it does mean, this result means that Woffenden is only a point ahead of Zagar for third place now. Holder on 5 overall, that moves him on to 97, so Holder is well and truly in the top 8. He'll be a Grand Prix rider again next year, no problem at all.
No, and fully deserves it, because now he's found some confidence. We're beginning to see why he was world champion 2 years ago, sealing the deal against that very man, actually, in the picture with him there, Nicky Pedersen, when they went head-to-head for his first world championship. And this move now, early doors down the back straight, it's tight here, but Chris has got, you know, he's got that extra little bit in him now, and you know, after a couple of seasons where he's suffered some dreadful injuries, it's really good to see the character and the confidence oozing from him, because he's such a spectacular and talented rider. Woffenden just lacking a little bit of pace. He comes back hard at Pedersen late in the race, but it's too late. But for Chris Holder in front of his home crowd, he wants to finish in style, and you've got to say he's a potential winner here this evening.
Nicky Pedersen in 5th place on 111. Chris Holder on 98, breathing down his neck now.
Yeah.
Jari Campbell on 90. Who would have thought that he'd reach the 90-point mark?
Fabulous turnaround for him, isn't it?
Now, we must mention Nicky about injuries as well. We talk about the top 3, but Nicky's had his injury problems as well.
Well, we've mentioned the high attrition rate this year, and he had that dislocated shoulder and had to struggle on with that. But unfortunately for Nicky, he's just not had quite the level of performance he's needed in recent Grand Prix. You can never fault his effort, of course, but he's had some frustrating exclusions as well. But I think he'll be fortunate to get a medal this year.
Now, Adrian Matinsky off 1. This is a massive race for Lindgren and Bachelor off gates 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Bachelor is on 86, Lindgren is on 87. Bachelor off 3, Smolinski off the outside. Lindgren didn't score in his opening ride because he was disqualified, of course. So this is a massive race coming up, Kelv.
It is, and as you rightly say, both these boys will be very keen to get amongst the points, and Lindgren, who will be desperately disappointed, but yeah, World Championship status on the line here.
Here we go, Mazinski's made a great start, Lindgren with that switch up the inside. Oh my goodness, how did they stay on the bike there? Mazinski holds the line, Smolinski's up the inside, all 4 bunched up. This is spectacular speedway. Smolinski with the inside wheel on the grass. And now Lindgren has the lead. Mazinski second and Bachelor's third. What on earth is going on? I can't keep up.
We're going everywhere. They're coming out of the 4th corner on the opening lap. Lindgren now responding supremely well. Mazinski, the wild card, of course, agreed by that exclusion with Woffenden in his opening ride, looking for a way through. Here comes Mazinski up the inside. Oh, Lindgren out of shade. Bachelor through into 2nd place. Fabulous speedway.
Yeah, Lindgren made the mistake, and now Bachelor's gone to the safety fence, and Lindgren's come through. Oh, this is ruthless speedway. The lead is with Mazinski, and Lindgren holds 2nd place. There's a place in the top 8 and the Grand Prix for 2015 on the line here, and it's going to be Mazinski with the victory. Lindgren with a hard-fought 2nd, and Bachelor was 3rd. And Bachelor's not happy with Lindgren at all. He has deliberately flicked his back wheel at Lindgren. There's a little bit of aggro there. Smolinski at the back. It's going to be one of those nights, isn't it?
Looks like it. It was all happening there. They were all in that, and I've got to say that at the end of the first lap, I don't know how they were all still upright, because Smolinski coming out of turn 4 just literally threw himself in the pack, but Mazinski fully deserved to win it.
Mazinski the winner there then, and that's the victory on the board that gives him 3 points. Now Lindgren on 2 and Bachelor on 2, and that means that Lindgren's now on 89. Freddie Lindgren's in on 89 and he moves into the top 8, but Jonsson has got a race in hand on 88 and Bachelor's on 87.
Hard fought race this, we see...
Just a bit.
Yeah. Oh, there's contact in the first corner there between Mazinski and Lindgren. Lindgren really having a go. Now watch Smolinski. Smolinski now goes right round the inside here and gets himself well and truly in it as they come off turn 4. Look at this, either side of him. Mazinski on the back wheel, a little bit out of shape. Now he comes charging up the inside of Lindgren. Lindgren pulls a big locker. That allows Batchelor through, but then Lindgren responds. And I think when Lindgren responds and passes Batchelor back after that mistake, clearly makes a mistake there. But when your Grand Prix future's on the line, you're prepared to do anything to pick up the points. Mazinski, gotta say, this is a classy ride from him after a disappointing opening ride. Won here last year, of course, and was outstanding. And Mazinski is a real track specialist here at Torun. But the racing that was going on behind him was so dramatic, you couldn't take your eyes off it.
I have to say, the way things are shaping up, we could have 2 runoffs tonight. Could have a runoff for the bronze medal, and we could have a runoff for 8th place and effectively 60 seconds to decide a Grand Prix place for 2015. That's how tight it is right now.
Wow.
Woffenden is on in the bronze medal position. Woffenden is on 114. Zagar is on 113. Pedersen's on 111. When it comes to the top 8 right now, you have Holder on 97. He's safe. He's gone. Yara Campbell is on 90. Then you have Freddie Lindgren on 89. In fact, here we see the graphic to confirm that, the top of the standings right now. So in the bottom half, Yara Campbell's on 90. Freddie Lindgren is now on 89. And we have Jonsson on 88 and Batchelor on 87. That's how tight it is. So it does appear that 4 riders right now are chasing 1 spot in next year's Grand Prix.
They are indeed, and that's why riders are going to ride that extra little bit to try and secure points. We see the lineup for Heat 8. What we're going to get here?
Who knows? Anything. Mats Janowski off the inside. Can he produce a bit of magic?
He could do.
Janowski. Andreas Jonsson goes off gate number 2. It's Yara Campbell off 3 in white, and Chris Harris goes off the outside in yellow. AJ with a race in hand. He is in the blue helmet colour, and he is on 88 points. And second place here will put him into the top 8. Here we go. Plenty of twists and turns ahead. Janowski has made a beauty. Magic Janowski has that lead. Harris comes up the inside now, challenging for second, but Jonsson holds the line well. Hampel's at the back now, and here comes Jonsson up the inside. Oh, that is an unbelievable swoop from Andreas Jonsson, whose season has been transformed in the last 2 or 3 rounds of the GP. Jonsson has that lead. Janowski second, and they're all going for it with Harris coming through into third, and Hampel at the back.
Yeah, Hampel momentarily into 3rd place, but then Harris then replaces the compliment, gets him back into a point-scoring position. Great move from Andreas Jonsson, full of confidence to look at him go. Loves the big outside swoops, it's generating a lot of speed. Janowski in 2nd place being charged down now by Chris Harris, and Hampel is being actually cast adrift at the back, but this is going to do Andreas Jonsson a power of good. He is another rider looking for his Grand Prix future. Fabulous out in front.
Yeah, Andreas Jonsson is going to move on to 91 Grand Prix points. With that victory, he propels himself into the top 8. He's gone ahead of Hampel, who's now on 90, and Hampel holds the 8th place. 1 point ahead of Freddie Lindgren, and 2 ahead of Troy Batchelor. So there's 2 points separating 4 riders. It is staggering here in Torun tonight, and we've got the world title to be confirmed, and the medals as well.
Only.
Right, Jonsson, Janowski, Harris and Hampel. That's the finishing order. Hancock, the unbeaten man, and on the verge of being crowned world champion for the 3rd time.
Yeah, super ride from AJ. He's since that win in Voyens, it's just transformed him. He's oozing confidence, and it's displayed here brilliantly. He comes away from the gate 2 position. Initially drops the clutch spot on, but Janowski's bike works supremely well to the 1st corner. And Harris coming through into 3rd with Hampel out the back, and he'll be disappointed, Hampel, because he won well first time out. Great move from AJ up the inside there to get the better of Magic Janowski. And from that moment on, AJ really relishes the conditions here, and he's generating more and more speed, and that engine that Ashley Holloway produced for him a few weeks ago is without question turned things around for him, and it looks like he's going to be able to secure his Grand Prix future. But 5 points from 2 rides, he'll be pleased as punch with that, and if he can continue on, then, you know, he's a former world number 2 just 3 seasons ago, so it's not really a surprise that he can win Grand Prix and ride at that level. So what a view that is. It really is a very spectacular venue here, and the racing matches this the status of the stature of the stadium, doesn't it? It's a really glorious place to come.
Yeah, really is a wonderful venue, and the racing is just stunning. And
takes your breath away.
Yeah, I think the riders go out there with that freedom as well, knowing that the track is so superb.
Exactly.
You said it earlier, Calv, you'd love to get out there.
Yeah, I was chatting with Chris Louis earlier, and we were just absolutely sort of like, you know, would be desperate to get out there and have a bit of a ride round. And I think that's when you see riders actually lifting their level on a night like tonight, when the track conditions are so ideal.
Yeah, absolutely. So
det seneste nye, vi kan fortælle om uheldet, som Michael Jensen blev ude i sit allerførste heat, det er, at han altså blev kørt direkte på hospitalet, og de første meldinger og vurderinger lyder på enten brækket skulder eller et brækket kravben. Det er, hvad vi ved indtil nu, og han er altså allerede over
needing points to be world champion,
til det
always in the
nærmeste
driving seat, but to do it with 2 wins under your belt for Greg Hancock is a very stylish way to do it, but it's no surprise when we know the guy.
No, it isn't, and you know, I think the resolve in him 2 weeks ago in Stockholm summed it up to me, how hungry he was to win the World Championship this year. Great mental attitude,
Steve, can you
never really throwing the towel in. His self-belief in him is extraordinary. I'm fully expecting Hancock to do the business very soon.
Let's hear from Christoph Kasperzak now with Chris Louis.
Christoph, 4 points on the night tonight,
Steve,
but there's no stopping Greg Hancock out
Greg
there.
needs a second place,
so fast,
please.
I know that. And he showed now from grade 3 here, so fast bike, and even I cannot catch him.
I'm glad
and
we
track
agree.
Conditions, the dirt seems to have moved out very quick, but there's still a lot of racing lines out there tonight.
Yeah, it's many lines, like you say, and good
Pleasure
track,
working
and I
with
hope
you.
so. Will be good races and safety for all of us.
And for you tonight, it's all about a medal position now and securing a top 3 position.
Yeah, I would like, will be dream top 3.
Thanks, Christoph.
Yeah, satisfactory work for Kasperzak so far. Of course, he would have dearly loved to have won his first 2 rides, but it hasn't been that way. Wolfenden, of course, who has been looking for a bit better than he's had and just hasn't quite had the speed here this evening so far. It doesn't mean to say he can't find it. Just a little bit of a lapse in action here while the track preparation goes on prior to Heat 9. But Hancock now just a couple of points away from securing that 3rd world title, and every chance, of course, of doing it coming out of Gate 2 and Heat 10. So, yeah, I expect him to do it there.
Well, let's hear from Andreas Jonsson, whose season has turned around. He's with Chris Louis.
Andreas, a great win last time out and a tough race, a great move up the inside of Magic Janowski.
Yeah, felt good, you know. I felt like I got a start. Gate 2, I was there, and then just suddenly after 10 meters, the bike stopped pulling. I was like, oh. So I went wide, just thought that I got to build some speed up, and then went on the inside under him and just had more speed into the 2nd corner.
It's the last round. There's so much on tonight. There's so many racing lines out there, but the racing is ruthless, isn't it? It
is. It's pretty hard, you know. You can feel in the air. There's a lot of pressure and a lot of nerves, so pretty tough. But you know, it's getting excited now than when the racing is going, and I just think it's just going to get more and more exciting during the meeting. Talking of pressure, it's going the right way for you. You've now moved yourself into the top 8. Yeah, but it's far from over. So I got a few more heats, and just need to get as many points as I can. Just put the head down and don't think too much about the places. Thanks, Andreas. Thanks.
Yeah, class stuff from Andreas Jonsson there. He's got 5 points from his first couple of rides, and yeah, he was just explaining how the bike just died going to the first corner, and because he did actually drop the clutch spot on, but then he made that really tough move at the end of the back straight. But conditions are allowing riders to make these you know, brave moves because it's such a beautifully prepared track, and we're seeing some fabulous high-speed action. Real drama, real tension. It'll build as the night goes on, of course. As we come towards Heat 20, it will be pressure mounting heat by heat. We've already seen some pretty hard crashes and some big moves by riders, but it's a fabulous night of Speedway so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing Greg Hancock coming out in Heat 10 nights, because it's going to be quite an emotional moment, I think.
Yeah, I mean, when he won it in 2011, in fact, let's make the first point. As the years went on, you thought, well, Greg, there was a time in 2010 when you thought, is the end coming? Has he lost his focus as a Speedway rider? Is he looking at his options for the future? 2011, won the world title. And then you think, surely he can never do it again. Gollop did it in 2010 and wasn't able to do it again. Hancock has done it all over again, you know, 3 years later in his mid-40s.
It's the mark of the man, and, you know, it's difficult to imagine that you can get better in your 40s after riding for such a long time, but Greg Hancock is a clever man, and he's moved, he's got the right engines in, he's got the golden tyre in that's worked a treat for him, he's made immaculate starts. By and large, he stays out of trouble. Unfortunately, in Gorzow, he didn't, but he's managed to get himself fit and back on the motorbike. And to all intents and purposes, he's just about there.
Yep, very much so. It's just to be confirmed. Heat number 9 coming up here in Torun, this wonderful Marianne Rose Speedway Arena. Around about, what, 2 miles outside of the town centre, there or thereabouts?
Brand new venue. They sold the old stadium and it's now a shopping mall. And the stadium was moved about 1 kilometre further up the road. And as I say, it is a purpose speedway venue. Doesn't get that often, used that often for official fixtures. So it is a special place to come. And I've got to say, it is a mouth-watering venue to come to.
Here we go with heat number 9 then. Kenneth Bier going off the inside. He's going through a tough time right now. Chris Harris of Great Britain goes off gate number 2 in blue. His British side, Coventry Bees, through to the Elite League Speedway Grand Final next week. Mate Zegar chasing down a bronze medal. He goes off gate 3 in white, is a point behind Woofenden. And going off the outside, Adrian Medzinski, who won his last outing. Another good lineup, this one.
Yeah. Plenty of good lineups in the Grand Prix Speedway, and Medzinski, who was outstanding here last year when he won as a wild card, was pretty impressive in his second ride. He had a lot of speed. He's always got lots of speed. He's quite a scary rider at times, Medzinski. He doesn't always look like he's fully in control, but by golly, does he carry some speed. He's on the outside, and Zago, I'm sure, will be battling him very hard.
We will indeed. Heat number 9. Here we go. Bier's made a great gate off the inside. Watch out for Medzinski in yellow. Zegar hasn't got there. He's at the back right now. You can be sure Medzinski is going to hunt down Bier. He couldn't decide which way to go there, inside or outside. Bier has that lead now. Zegar is challenging Medzinski with Chris Harris at the back, but Harris is now using the inside line to try and come through on the inside of Mate Zegar. Great speedway again. Bier's missing all the fun. He's got the lead.
Yeah, he's pleased to be in front because there's plenty of action going on behind him, and look how fast they go around here. It's heavily banked. Got to say, you can carry so much speed through the corners, and Bier, who's had a hard time of late with injury again, is looking very composed out in front. Medzinski in second, Zago third, and Harris momentarily was amongst the points, but Bier, with under a lap to go, tell you what, he's going to pick up a win here, and that's all to his credit.
And Harris is well and truly on the pace for third, winding it on, having a real go on Mate Zegar here. Kenneth Bier, though, what a way to bounce back. It's been a tough night. Holds on there for the win. Second place, Medzinski. Third was Mate Zegar, under serious pressure from Chris Harris, who really gave it his all there. But what a win for Kenneth Bier. Big ride from him. And he, well, you can tell there's relief there, because after a couple of last places, that's just what he needed.
Yeah,
absolutely. Been through the pain barrier, of course, with that shoulder injury. Bier, Medzinski, Zegar adds a point, so he now only goes level with Woofenden in third place. So a chance for Woofenden to kick on for a bronze medal. Medzinski on 5, Zegar on 5. Now, are we just moments away from seeing a new world champion crowned in the next heat?
I think we are. Looking forward to that, but first of all, let's just take a look at Kenneth Bier bouncing back to top form here. Good ride. Medzinski early on there was all over the back straight. He didn't know whether to go left, right, or whatever. He finally decides to run the bike right round the outside, but he can't get to Bier, who shows great speed out in front, and all credit to him. Zago and Harris have a race-long battle for third place, with Harris momentarily here into third place, and then Zagar's able to get himself back in there. Of course, Zagar is searching for a medal, so he's desperate for every point he can possibly get, because it's all so tight for fourth, third and second place. So a good ride for Bier. But this is all, this is crunch time. Will Hancock manage to do it?
Yep, crunch time indeed. Second place or better, and Hancock wins the title. This could be the race. There's other issues here, because Hampel and Lindgren, Lindgren off 3 and Hampel off 1, they need points for their top 8 battle, And Nicky Pedersen, a win for him would propel him really close for a bronze medal.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of issues, but, you know, the big one here is the world title.
Yeah, and I've got to say that Greg Hancock is so focused. I don't think he's going to worry about all these different permutations. He'll be just looking for another race win, Nige.
Yeah, he's done the job well so far. It's Jere Campbell off the inside with Greg Hancock going off gate number 2 in blue. Freddie Lindgren is off gate 3 in white. And Nicky Pedersen is the man off the outside in yellow. Could this be the moment? Greg Hancock in blue. Ty Woffenden, who of course has been hunting down a second successive world title this year. I'm sure he's going to be back for more, but Greg Hancock at the age of 44 going for a third world title. 1997, 2011. The SGP Series, it was announced on Thursday. It'll be going to Melbourne and the Etihad in October next year. New deal with Monster Energy, announced yesterday. New world champion, perhaps tonight. Greg Hancock in this race, off gate 2 in blue. It's Hampel who's made the start. Hancock hasn't quite got the lead, and up the inside is Lindgren. Lindgren locks up, and now here comes Nicky Pedersen, and Hancock is in third place. He's going to charge up the inside. Pedersen has that lead, and now Greg Hancock holds the line. That's a hugely intelligent ride from Greg Hancock. This will do it. If he hangs on to this, Hancock's going to be the champion. Nicky Pedersen with a win here will go level with Woffenden and Sagar for a bronze medal as well. Extraordinary stuff here. Pedersen, Hancock, Hampel, Lindgren, and Greg Hancock is 2 laps away from a third world title.
Fabulous move by Hancock there. He did terrifically well to get himself up the inside of Hampel. Fantastic ride. This is all he needs. Nicky Pedersen going great guns out in front. Hancock looking good for a world title there in second place. Hampel now getting tailed off, and Freddie Lindgren back in fourth. But Pedersen looking good for a win, but it's going to be Hancock's title.
Here we go. It's a new world champion. It's Greg Herbie Hancock in blue. He cannot be caught at the age of 44 years of age. It's one of the greatest achievements ever in World Speedway. Greg Hancock of the USA, who started his professional career in the UK in 1989, a staggering 25 years ago, is here in Torun tonight as a new world champion. Hats off to the nice guy at Speedway. It's Greg Herbie Hancock.
Well, what an achievement it is. You're absolutely right, Nigel. It has to go down as one of the greatest achievements in the history of the sport. He's ridden absolutely beautifully throughout the year. Had that hand injury, could have lost his arm in actual fact. It's such a dramatic incident he sustained in Gorshov. And when he came back in Stockholm, failed to score in his first ride, picked up a whole hatful of points and went away with a very comfortable lead. Fantastic scenes, fully deserved. And Greg, I've known and rode against him when he came over to the UK. He has been such a marvellous ambassador for the sport throughout his career. No controversy about the man. He's the real deal. And at 44, what an achievement.
Well, you can't touch the trophy yet, Greg. Not quite. That's for later. But the traditional bumps. He's got a very loyal pit crew that have been with him for quite some time. His brother is here tonight. His family here, his wife, and 2 of his children are here tonight as well, watching the action too. A proud moment. He did it in 2011. Hands up if you thought he'd never do it again.
Well, most of us would do that, I think. Ty there obviously wants to hand over. Family present there on the centre green, of course. It is a very, very special time for Greg Hancock. I think a lot of people would never have predicted that he could win another world championship at this stage. When you consider how hard the racing is now, so much respect amongst his competitors, all congratulating him. It really is a special moment, and it's great to see. And this is how highly he is held by other riders. As you say, he has a very loyal backroom staff. His team have been with him for well over 10 years, and got to say that it's a special time. Peter John's there, of course, the engine tuner, now winning his 3rd consecutive world championship with 3 different riders, but Greg Hancock, the grin, they call him the grin. I'm going to say that grin is going to take some time to get rid of, because he'll be in 7th heaven.
Quite right too. Brilliant stuff from Greg Hancock. A 3rd world title, the result, and let's just remind you, that was a massive win for Nicky Pedersen there as well, with Hancock 2nd. Hancock now on 8 points. Cannot be caught in the World Championship race, but with Nicky Pedersen picking up 4 points there, he goes level with Woffenden and Zagar in the race for a bronze medal. And with Lindgren's last place there, well, that is a huge blow to him because he is chasing a top 8 place as well. But it's all about this guy for the moment. Greg Hancock of the USA, the grin.
Yeah! Fantastic stuff.
Once you get on, once you get on, once you get on top, once you get on, once you get on top, once you get on, once you get on top, once you get on, once you get on top, once you get on, once you get on.
Well, Jenny Hancock, Greg's wife there with Faye, who is Ty Woffenen's partner as well. And the new world champion is with Chris Louis.
FIM Speedway Grand Prix champion 2014, Greg Hancock. How does it feel?
Grin to win. It feels
nailed
goddamn.
it, mate. Nailed
Excuse
it.
my French. Unbelievable. Right now, it's just overwhelming. You know, shit, I'm gonna lose it. This is unbelievable. There's so much hard work and too many people to thank right now. You got to give me a few minutes.
We'll do that. I'm sure we're going to talk later on, but you went straight to the trophy, and a great sporting gesture from the outgoing world champion, Ty Woffen, to want to be there to hand it to you.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, these guys, we've got a lot of respect amongst us, and I think, you know, in particular, Ty and Chris and myself, we're, you know, and Darcy, we're all really good buddies, a lot of us. So, you know, it means a lot. I think this whole group of riders is pretty darn good and a lot of respect for each other. So this is Speedway.
It's been a hard slog out there, though, since Gorzoff laying on the track with the hand broken. Any doubt in your mind at that point?
Yeah, I had a lot of doubts. I had a lot of anger, you know, why me, all that kind of stuff. But bottom line, it was just a finger, and, you know, I wouldn't be here today if I couldn't ride. So what can I say? There's a lot. My doctors, Dr. Gravander in Sweden, who put me in touch with Dr. Zeb at the Hand Center in Gothenburg, and then lots and lots of follow-up treatment with Åke Snellström and Roslags Clinic. And so without those guys, I wouldn't be here today, I promise.
You've won the World Championship in front of the family as well. I believe your brother's here from the States, his first ever Grand Prix. That's special.
Yeah, it's awesome. He flew in from Chicago a couple days ago, and the last time he saw me in Europe was 1992. So a little bit has changed since then. And I'm stoked that he's here. I'm stoked that my wife and the kids are here, and so many my nephew from the States and buddies I rode Speedway with, Jesse and Jason. And man, there's so many that are here, and Gert and Mate and Marcus and Pat and the Dirty Dogs. We're back.
We're going to be talking to you later on. Congratulations, Greg Hancock.
Hey, I love you guys.
Well, that's marvellous, isn't it? And you can't speak highly enough for him. He's quite, you know, in every right.
They've made those quick, haven't they?
He has indeed. Yeah, that's fresh off the press, aren't they? But yeah, it is an incredible story, and it will be one that we'll be chatting about for some time, and there will be strong debate about whether he has achieved something that is the most outstanding achievement within the sport. His wife there, of course, he's been based in Sweden now for some period of time, and that seems to have given him a new lease of life. And world champion there being congratulated by Nicky Pedersen, of course, fierce competitors, but underneath it all, an underlying respect. And Greg Hancock, he doesn't really have an enemy out there. He is super nice guy, rides wonderfully well. And in your mid-40s, to have secured your 3rd World Championship must be something very special indeed.
That's what it's all
something
about
that
right
nobody
there.
has done, you know. He had that record. He was the eldest world champion prior to this night, and he's now surpassed his own record. So congratulations to Greg Hancock. That's a special achievement.
It certainly is, and really is a very proud moment. I remember seeing Greg Hancock in 1989 when he first came over. He was a reserve at Cradley Heath, and he was struggling for points. And I remember him saying to me in '89, "Colin Pratt could be sending me home soon. I'm not good enough."
I remember it, and I rode against him at that time. I was riding for Coventry, and of course there was a lot of rivalry between the two clubs, and Greg did struggle initially, but he doesn't now.
No, he certainly doesn't. Jonsson off the inside in red, Krzysztof Kasperzak off 2 in blue. Now there's an issue here with Kasperzak chasing that silver medal, of course. Martin Smolinski off 3, Chris Holder off the outside. Now for Andreas Jonsson as well in red off the inside, the pressure is very much on for a top 8 finish for next year. So now we know the world champion is sorted. We have to focus on the medal positions and the top 8, and this is a big race for AJ.
It is, and he rode very well last time out. He's got 5 points to his name so far, and you've got to say that AJ has got a lot of confidence, but Holder has as well, and Kasperzak wants the silver medal. This is a tough race.
Heat number 11 it is, and Kasperzak's made a good start off too, but Jonsson is there as well. Now who's going to make the next move? Holder goes wide, Smolinski up the inside. There's no room down the back straight. The lead is with Jonsson. Here comes Kasperzak now. Holder's been shoved to the back, but Andreas Jonsson has that lead. Jonsson is looking good to secure a place in next year's Grand Prix Series. Smolinski 3rd, and the Torun favourite Chris Holder is at the back.
Yeah, Holder just got squeezed out on the opening lap in turns 3 and 4, and AJ, who had that great run down the back straight and once again is showing good speed. Kasperzak's not out of it, he's pushing hard in 2nd place, but KK, he's got speed, but he can't quite get himself to the front tonight, and that's really what's cost him a chance of putting any pressure on the new world champion, Greg Hancock. But Andreas Jonsson, full of confidence, looking like he's going to secure his Grand Prix future here tonight.
Yeah, still a bit of work to do though. Holder holds 3rd now, has closed the door on Martin Smolinski. The lead though is with Andreas Jonsson. AJ's going to take the checkered flag. 2nd there was Krzysztof Kasperzak, and 3rd place eventually was Chris Holder. As we say, rides here for Torun in the Polish League. And Gorzów, by the way, are the new Polish League champions, having won that a couple of weeks or so ago.
Yeah.
And of course, in Sweden, Vetlanda, helped by Ty Woffenden back in the playoffs.
Rode brilliantly
He did,
in the playoffs, but AJ there was fantastic once again. Back-to-back wins for him tonight.
Yeah, great stuff. So Jonsson from Kasperzak, with Holder in 3rd, Smolinski at the back. Hancock and Jonsson lead the GP. They're on 8 points apiece, and a big ride that was from Andreas Jonsson.
It was, because, you know, the pressure's on. He interviewed very well, and I have to say, when Chris was chatting to him, he seemed very relaxed for such a big night and a tense night. We're seeing riders having to do all sorts of extraordinary moves. But that's a clever first corner from Jonsson, and once he gets his nose in front, down the back straight on the opening lap, they cannot charge him down. Kasperzak, of course, desperately wants to get a silver medal, and he can't do anything about AJ out in front. Holder, who's had a good night, finally gets himself amongst the points later on in the race and picks up 3rd place. But Andreas Jonsson is enjoying conditions, and big smiles there, because it's been a hard season for the Swede. He really was out of sorts for long periods of time, but suddenly renewed confidence. And 8 points from 9, Nigel. That's a very, very good start to tonight.
94 points he's on now. He's gone above Hampel. Hampel's on 91. Frederick Lindgren is on 89, and Troy Batchelor's on 87.
Yeah, he's making that Grand Prix place isn't he? He's making the others going to have to put a lot of pressure on them to secure their futures. Batchelor could well be up here. Yes, he is indeed. He goes from the outside, and Troy, who has ridden well at times this season, with on 87 points in 10th place, he's desperate for a win.
That's the battle for the top 8. That's how tight it is. Now, here we go with heat number 12. And the battle for the silver medal is well and truly on. And we have Ty Woffenden going out here in the white helmet colour. Now, Pavel Shepelski will be the man off the inside then here. The a reserve who announced his arrival as the reserve tonight with a race win in his opening ride.
Very
in for
impressive.
the unfortunate Michael Jepsen-Jensen, who we wish well with that collarbone injury. Mats Janowski off 2. Ty Woffenden going off 3. And Troy Batchelor now, he's on 87 points. Adrift of the top 8 now by some, 2 or 3 points. So he really does need
race win
to
would
kick
do
on
well,
here,
wouldn't it? You know, put him right back in with a shout. But no race is easy here.
It's a great start from Janowski off gate number 2. He's going to be a Grand Prix rider full-time next year, remember. Batchelor hasn't made the best of starts. Shepelski is second right now. Woffenden is at the back. That will raise the hopes of Zagar and Pedersen of claiming a silver medal tonight. The lead is with Magic Janowski. Second place, Shepelski. Batchelor comes through into third now. Woffenden is going to have to work hard here. He's spotted the gap on the inside for third, but Shepelski is closing the door.
He does indeed. He slams the door shut. I've got to say that was a good move there from Batchelor. There was an opportunity to get up the inside. Going into turn 2, second time of asking in the Australian pounds. Shepelski in third place, coming back at him. Janowski sharp away from the tapes, is looking impressive out in front. Batchelor with Shepelski charging hard in third place, and the outgoing world champion not enjoying a great night. He's out the back.
Well, if it's days like this, the battle for third place will be 3 ways. Level. Woffenden, Zagar and Pedersen all on 114 points.
Unbelievable.
It's not going Woffenden's way tonight. Janowski. Wonderful ride, and Batchelor comes through in a second. Super ride from the Australian in yellow. That puts him onto 89 points and keeps his hopes alive of a top 8 finish. Wow, this is sensational speedway tonight.
Nights, tense stuff, and got to say, riders are really putting it on the line. Janowski now comes up with a race win after an immaculate ride away from the tape. Shepelski riding well, but Batchelor, that was a great move from him.
Needed it. Janowski, Batchelor, Shepelski finishing third there, and Ty Woffenden at the back. On the night, Hancock, the new world champion, 8 points, and Jonsson on 8 as well.
Well, this is all about Janowski in this one. He had a disappointing opening ride where the bike backed up, but it doesn't here because he wins in fine style. He makes a fabulous start from gate 2, stamps his authority right round the inside on the first corner. Shepelski, the Youngster, in second place. He was impressive first time out, getting the better holder, but Batchelor, you got to say, this is a class move from him. He slips up the inside there as they start the second lap, and he secures 2 points. Shepelski back in third. As they come to the checkered flag here, I've got to say Batchelor puts pressure on Janowski. He has it in hand, he pulls a wheelie. Just a little bit of showboating from the new fully fledged Grand Prix rider for next year, Magic Janowski, and he's been in good form. He has a nasty cut to the top of his arm after a motocross accident last week, but yeah, fully justifying his place here this evening, and I've got to say he'll be a credit to the Grand Prix series next year.
Well, the battle for the top 8. So close. Let's hear from Kenneth Pierre. In fact, he's going to do this in Danish. But the top 8 right now, Kelvin, you do feel that AJ, with a 5-point cushion now for a top 8 finish, a 5-point cushion over Lindgren and Batchelor is looking very, very good.
Yeah.
But with Hampel on 91, Lindgren and Batchelor on 89 each, you do feel that it's 3 into 1 there. And
Hampel, Lindgren and Batchelor, it's so hard to call. Hampel started so strongly, and then subsequently has found points hard to come by. Batchelor, those 2 points there were very useful indeed. Lindgren looks like he's a little hit and miss this evening, I've got to say. He looks like he's under. Maybe he's feeling the pressure because he looks quite tense on the bike. I think AJ's the one with his experience. He's now in his mid-30s, seems to be coping with the pressure very well and has ridden supremely well to lead the Grand Prix with Hancock on 8 points. But yeah, that's going to be a tense battle that goes right to the wire, I think.
Og en skadet skulder i år selvfølgelig.
Yeah, of course, we're just hearing from him now. He was
lidt tilbage ved det mentalt også køremæssigt og
brilliantly in his third ride, but
når man bare ikke så mange knogler som der nu har, så tænker man lidt over livet også, men nogle gange så bliver man nødt til at ligge tilbage ved, så
at times Kenneth looks like the real deal, but always seems to get injuries at the worst possible moment, and you got to feel for him a bit there.
Yeah, very much so. It's been a tough time for him. We wish him well. I have to say it's probably, and this is with no knowledge, but I would say it's probably unlikely he'll get one of the picks
I think other riders are in front of him, Nigel, which is a shame for him. He's going to have to battle his way back in through the qualifying system.
Yep. Well, Andreas Jonsson looking good. He's with Chris.
Andreas, another cracking race win, soaking up the pressure out there, but it's not getting any easier.
No, it's tough. You know, it's really hard out there, and you know, I started this meeting pretty good. Just dropped 1 point so far, but still a couple of races to go before the semi. So I just need to keep the focus and you know, keep going as I started.
Absolutely, every point is going to count. You've just got a 5-point cushion now in that top 8.
Yeah, it's really tight, you know, and just don't want to look back. Just keep going forward. Just keep taking as many points as I can, and then hopefully by the end of the night there will be enough.
And while we're looking forward, a quick word for the new world champion, Greg Hancock.
I want to say congratulations to Greg. You know, great job, him and his whole team and his family. I know how important it is with a lot of supporting people behind him. You know, and you know, congratulations, great season for him.
Good luck with the rest of the night. Thanks, Andreas.
Thank you.
How relaxed he is when you consider how tense the battle is for the top 8. He looks like he's enjoying the evening, and that's just always important. When you're enjoying your work, you generally do it well. And AJ has, since that win in Voyens, where it was a very emotional win for him, where he shed a tear that night after such a tough time, and it's restored his confidence, and we're seeing the best of him once again, which is really encouraging, because Andreas Jonsson is a top rider with plenty of Grand Prix wins. You know, he's got, I can't remember, I think he's got 9 Grand Prix victories to his name. Yes, he has, and you know, that's quite sensible. It's very respectable. So, you know, in lots of ways, it will be pleasing to see him back in the series for next year, and hopefully he can kick on, because Sweden need a star. You know, after Tony Rickardsson dominating the sport for such a long period of time and being probably, arguably, one of the best riders ever
the new Torun
to
deal on the
grace
infield?
the Speedway world. Andreas has found it difficult at times to step into those shoes. So, yeah, pleased to see him riding well.
Well, we are off to Melbourne next year. This was announced 48 hours ago that we will be in Australia next year. Let's catch up with more on that story now.
It's the next big expansion for the series. You know, we've been to many big stadiums around the world, but to take it to the Southern Hemisphere and to what is probably one of the best stadiums in the Southern Hemisphere, the Etihad, is a big deal for the series. It's very important for us to keep moving the series forward, and the ability to find a place or a stadium in Australia or in the Southern Hemisphere that can take the series, and it'll help us move it forward to the next big expansion.
So we've been like begging for it for a little while, I think, and just haven't probably had the right stadium, the right place to do it, and the right timing. But you know, off the back of New Zealand, the last few years has been really good, and yeah, they'll be buzzing when they hear it, and I'm looking forward to it. It should be good.
From my perspective, this is a massive achievement for BSI and IMG to make it happen. And we were in Australia back in like 2002 in Sydney there, and it was a great finish to the season. For me, this is a welcoming news, and looking forward to it.
I think it's about time we went to Aussie and had a World Championship round. But you know, obviously I was born in England, but grew up in Australia, and Australia's my home. So you know, I'll have a lot of people from Perth coming over and supporting me, and probably a few people on the East Coast as well.
It's building on the tradition. You know, we've had Jason Crump, 3 times world champion, Lee Adams, a fantastic ambassador for the sport, and now the next generation are coming through. Chris Holder was world champion only 2 years ago. We've already got Jason Doyle in the series next year, so there'll be a lot of local interest as we go down there. Potentially 3, maybe even 4 riders competing. And what that means is there'll be an Australian representative in almost every heat.
Australian Speedway at the moment is on a bit of a rise. We've got a lot of good riders coming through, and you know, Doyley making it to Grand Prix next year, that's another guy. So, and our whole junior scene in Australia is going off at the moment too. They're getting a lot of coverage from what we're doing over here. So I think the timing's perfect, and it's going to be real cool.
At the moment, the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff is our biggest event on the planet, bar none. We feel that Etihad will give it a run for its money, and certainly will be competing for that mantra to be called the biggest speedway event on the planet.
Great city and fantastic stadium as well, the Etihad. The Australian team manager is Mark Lemon. Let's hear from him now.
Mark Lemon, Australian team manager, and a big announcement, October 24th, 2015, the Etihad Stadium in Melbourne. A lot of excitement already.
It's massive. It's going to be huge, and we're so proud to be able to have a home Grand Prix for our Aussie boys. But have the Etihad Stadium in Melbourne. Melbourne's just sport mad, so it's going to be pretty big, and everyone's looking forward to it.
Yes, I was going to say, Melbourne seems to be the centre spot for big things happening in Australia. So it is big news for Australia as well, for the sport to be going back there.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect place to have the Grand Prix. You know, like the Etihad Stadium, you know, it's not going to be rained off. We've got a roof, and I think the whole town just comes alive for it, or any sporting sort of event. But perfect place, can't wait.
And the whole of Australia, I'm sure, will be rooting for plenty of Australians. You'll be wanting some at the top of the leaderboard.
Well, you know, obviously we've got Jason Doyle coming in the GP system. Obviously, Chris is going well, so he'll be there next year. And obviously, Troy, if he can make his way through to the top 8, we'll have 3 definite starters for next year. It's going to be really exciting.
Exciting stuff. Thanks, Mark.
No worries at all.
Well, it's the end of the season, of course, and the boys had their traditional photo call as the last round of the Grand Prix series here in Torun yesterday. An announcement as well of a new deal with Monster Energy as partners of the Speedway Grand Prix Series and main sponsors of the Speedway World Cup as well. Tell you what, Calvin, it's been a pretty good couple of days for Speedway Grand Prix and World Cup, hasn't it?
Very impressive, because at times this year it's been tough, and you've got to say that BSI, IMG, and they've come out fighting. You know, a 5-year deal to go to Australia for the Etihad is outstanding. We've got a new venue to go to in Denmark, the Horsens Stadium there. Got to say that the 3-year extension deal with Monster Energy keeps the profile really high. You know, we've got Cardiff, we've got Stockholm. It's really moving the sport on, these major venues. And Torun, you know, this is a marvellous venue. We've got Gorgeoff. I tell you what, this is doesn't really get a lot better than this. And all credit to the organisers. It's a fabulous achievement.
So the World Championship standings there, and we know the new world champion, Christoph Kasperzak, looking good for the silver medal. But the battle for third, you've got Woffington Pedersen and also Matti Zagar on 114 points. And Zagar is in this race off the outside gate in yellow. And we have Batchelor and Hampel as well. So, well, there's something riding on every heat. And we're loving it here in Torun this evening. We've had the interval, we've had the grading break, and we're about ready to go. Here we go, it's E13, Troy Batchelor, desperate for points at 89 in the GP so far. Jarek Hampel, who has a total of 91 Grand Prix points, is off gate 2 in blue. Chris Holder goes off gate 3 in white, and Matti Zagar level with Nicky Pedersen and Ty Woffington for the bronze medal on 114. It's, well, there's something. Every race is absolutely crucial.
Yeah, because often when we come to an evening like this and you see the World Championship crowned, it can actually go a little bit flat, but that's not the case this evening, because as you've just rightly explained, there's so much riding on every race. Jarek Hampel, of course, who turned his fortunes around 2 weeks ago with a 21 maximum in Stockholm, but he's still got work to do, and the man on the inside of him, Batchelor, is going to make him work very hard for it.
Here we go! Oh! But a movement to the start, and the red lights have come on straight away.
Wow.
Krista Gardell put the red lights on.
I'm not so sure he should have done.
Well,
not so sure he should have done.
Batchelor punished himself there?
He may have done. There's no question that Hampel actually got the better of him going to the first corner, but it's a close call. We'll see it again when Hampel there up at the tapes. Will the pit gate open? Yes, it does. So we see it again there. He's a little bit, but he actually misses the start because he's just now, green light's on now, moves and then misses it. And yeah, you can't be too critical there, but in actual fact, Troy had missed the start with Hampel making the better one. Riders now just having a few last-minute alterations and chain adjusted and taking a breather after a start.
Troy Batchelor with the news of the Etihad Stadium in Melbourne next October. It just adds a little bit of desire and pressure, I guess, for Troy. Desperate to get into the GP series as another Australian, knowing that the final round is in Melbourne next October.
Yeah, and it's you know, it's been a long time since they had the opportunity to ride in the home Grand Prix, and of course with a 5-year contract to ride in the Etihad, it's now going to be on the calendar every year, and those boys will be very keen to be part of it. And I'm sure Troy, who's had a hard time, he's found Grand Prix Speedway tough this year, had a wonderful display of course in Copenhagen where he picked up 20 points and hasn't quite managed that consistency, but that's all what the first year's all about. He's not out of it. What is he on? He's on 89 points. Lindgren's on 89 points.
2 points behind Hampel.
Yeah, Hampel's on 91. So this is a it's a vital race for him. If he can win this race, then he'll give himself a really good chance. But with Holder and Zagar in the race, Zagar, of course, on the outside gate here, looking for a medal. As you said before, building up to the initial staging of this race, Nige, there's interest everywhere you look.
And Chris Holder off gate number 3, one of the Monster Energy stable of Grand Prix riders, of course. Good news for the series overall again yesterday with the Monster Energy deal for the Grand Prix and as title sponsors of the Monster Energy FIM Speedway World Cup as well. Here we go, heat number 13, Troy Batchelor going off the inside in red. Gate 2 in blue is Jarek Hampel. Gate 3 in white is Chris Holder. And off the outside, Matti Zagar. Second time of asking, here we go again.
Here we go again, and you've got to say that Monster Energy's involvement with the sport has been extremely successful. They've had the last 3 world champions. It's quite staggering how they've come in and achieved so much success, but they've got quality riders, of course, kicking around. That does help as well, but I've got to say, looking at Chris Holder there, just preparing himself for this race, coming out of gate 3, when you consider the injuries he's had over the last couple of years, he's now beginning to look like he's back to his best. And I'll tell you what, if he can have a nice winter with a bit of sun on his back, get himself fully fit and refreshed for next year, Nige, I think he could be a real force to win a second world championship.
And how it'd be good to see him as another contender. Here we go, heat number 13. Away from the tapes, and Hampel's made a beauty off gate number 2. Great start from Jarek Hampel. Batchelor holds second now. Holder is third, and Zagar is at the back, but he's coming through with speed off that banking. Coming off turn number 2. The lead is with Jarek Hampel, and Batchelor holds second. Hampel is riding quite superbly for the lead here, and Chris Holder is battling with Zagar at the back. He's closed the door, and Batchelor has got quite a bit of speed here.
Yeah, Batchelor is very threatening in second place. Great start from gate 2 for Hampel. He needs it. Holder comes charging up the inside of Zagar there. Look how hard the racing is. Zagar now swapping back up the inside. Delavan straight neck and neck for third place. But out in front, Hampel and Batchelor, 2 riders fighting for their Grand Prix lives. 1 lap to go. Holder and Zagar going at it for third. Batchelor at the inside. Wow, great speedway.
Well, what a race this is. Hampel with that lead. That is a big victory for Jarek Hampel. Troy Batchelor holds second. Chris Holder was third. And Matti Zagar at the back. That is a big moment as well, because he's stuck on 114 in the battle for the bronze medal. And with 2 points for Batchelor, he's on 91. And with 3 for Jarek Hampel now, 94 points for Jarek Hampel. And the task gets even tougher for Batchelor now.
It does indeed, and that's a great ride from Hampel there. That really was just what the doctor ordered, and got to say that Batchelor showed a lot of intent there. He pushed him awfully hard right to the checkered flag, but 4 rides, 7 points for Hampel. The winner 2 weeks ago, of course, in Stockholm. That really was an outstanding effort, but by golly did he have to work hard for it. Second time of asking. Hampel out of gate 2, gets that all-important start round the inside. Holder and Zagar have a race-long battle for just a solitary point, with Holder, the former world champion, finally sealing that third place. He desperately wants to get to the latter stages of this meeting, but Batchelor and Hampel have a race-long battle here out in front, and it really is a sight to behold. Got to say, when the pressure's on the line and riders fighting for survival, look at the action out the back. And Zagar, this is a disappointment for him, because he desperately wants to pick up a bronze medal at the very least. But out in front, the 2 boys battling for the top 8 put on quite a show, and these 2 lads as well. It really is high speed action, and it's speedway out of the top draw. Fantastic.
Yeah, very much so. Batchelor on 6 points now, and now the standings. This is the relevant bit. In 8th place, and remember, it's the top 8 that qualify. So in 7th place and 8th place, Jonsson and Hampel level on 94. Then you have Batchelor on 91, and Lindgren is on 89. That win from Jarek Hampel has piled the pressure on Lindgren and Batchelor, Kelf.
It has, and Batchelor, you could see how he knew it too, wasn't he? You can see it clearly there, 94 apiece for Jonsson and Hampel. Batchelor just slipping a little behind, and Lindgren's the one now under huge pressure. He's got a ride coming up, of course, but now, you know, you've got to say that Freddie's got to come up with something very special indeed. He's got to wait until heat 16, where he's up against Janowski, Kasperzak and Bier. No easy races, of course, in Grand Prix.
Nicky Pedersen a point here, and he will go third in the World Championship for a bronze medal. Gate 2, Oscar Pfeiffer, reserved tonight, in for Jepsen Jensen, who's suffered a broken collarbone. AJ, Andreas Jonsson. Gate 3, White, Adrian Mudzinski going off the outside. Jonsson then looking to secure his place in the top 8 for next year's Grand Prix series. And Pedersen, desperate for a bronze medal to salvage, well, not salvage his season, it's been tough, but it'd be a great achievement.
It will do, because, you know, at times he's looked really fast, and other times he's struggled with a bit of injury, but he's in there battling hard, and he's made an exceptional start off the inside.
That was brilliant, smooth as you like, away from the start, and now Jonsson down the backside. Look at this here from the man in yellow, Adrian Mudzinski, blasts around the outside, now he's trying to squeeze up the middle. Jonsson's having none of it, get out of the way, forget it, I'm having second place. Pedersen, Jonsson, now Mudzinski with a clever little switch up the inside, and the back in blue is Pfeiffer, the reserve, but this is sensational stuff.
Fabulous speedway there in the opening laps here. Fantastic move there from Andreas Jonsson to get the better of Mudzinski, who was so brave down the back straight on the opening lap. Pedersen looking good out in front. Andreas Jonsson on 8 points coming into this race. There's a lap to go. Pedersen hungry for a medal this evening.
Yeah, Pedersen looking superb. Here comes Jonsson right up his exhaust pipe. This is spectacular. He's going to try the inside line. Pedersen with that lead. Jonsson now, but Pedersen's going to do it. That's a massive boost for Nicky Pedersen for a bronze medal. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to pinch a line from the legendary Speedway commentator Dave Lanning. There's more twist than Chubby Checker in this Grand Prix.
Very good indeed, but yeah, there is, and we saw it on display there again. You know, Pedersen understands the situation and comes up with a top ride. That was a supreme effort from the 3-time champion.
Pedersen, Jonsson, Mudzinski, Pfeiffer. That puts AJ now onto 96. Well and truly in the driving seat for a top 8 place now, because it means that Freddie Lindgren is 5 points off the top 8 going into his 4th ride of the night. The picture is becoming clearer.
It is, and you know, you have to give a lot of credit to Andreas Jonsson, who's turning his fortunes around in fine style. This is a hard charge, and look at that move from Mudzinski. So brave. Only just enough room there. Oh, crikey, he had no... There was only one thought there, and look at Jonsson coming back at him, squeezing him up as they complete the first lap with Pedersen out in front. Race-long battle, of course, for second and third. Pedersen comes under pressure from Jonsson. Jonsson's got speed in that bike, and he chases down the Danish rider out in front, but this is a very useful win for Nicky Pedersen, searching for a bronze medal at the very least. And at the right time, Nicky's timing's impeccable here, because he comes up with a vital win that gives him a very good chance of securing a medal. AJ in second place, pushing hard, but there, that man. Tell you what, yeah, no question, he's having a solid night. 10 points from 4 rides. Good work, and Jonsson now back to his best. This is what we expect to see from him. He is a class act.
6 weeks ago, if you'd have told him he's going to get a top 8 place and be a guarantee in next year's GP series, many people would have laughed, wouldn't they?
I think he would have laughed at you. You know, he would have turned around
and said...
A lot
of people do, to be fair.
Okay, yeah, we are quite funny at times, but no, it's a miraculous turnaround in form. Woffingen now coming up here. He's obviously seen Nicky Pedersen win in fine style. They're looking like they were going to change the bike there, but I think they've resisted that temptation. So Woffingen, the outgoing world champion, would dearly love a medal. Love a medal. A top 3 finish would be to his credit, but he's up against the new world champion on his outside.
Here we go, Chris Harris going off the inside in red. Guaranteed a spot next year, of course. Gate number 2 in blue is Martin Smolinski, won the opening round in New Zealand, hasn't worked out since. Ty Woffingen, only 2 points to his name, goes off gate 3 in white, needs a couple of wins to get a semi-final spot tonight. And the new world champion, Greg Hancock, is going off the outside in yellow, and Hancock has made a jet-propelled start. A wonderful gate from Greg Hancock. Woffingen has now had to go so wide towards the fence down the back straight, and now he's hunting down Chris Harris as well. And Smolinski dives on the inside, but Woffingen blasts past him. Now it's Hancock with Woffingen second. Smolinski is third, and Harris at the back. But Woffingen is trying that line around the outside, and it's looking super quick here.
He is indeed, it's working. Greg Hancock, immaculate away from the taste, but look at Woffingen, he's going to pass him, not quite. Brilliant effort from Woffingen, he was out the back, dead and buried, and he's running high and wide. Hancock down the back straight. Here comes Woofenden, desperate for points. Really putting it on the line, right up by the air fence. Kissing the kickboards as he comes through to complete another lap. That is an impressive ride from the outgoing champion.
He's gone wider than most tonight here in this ride, Ty Woofenden. He doesn't want his season to end in the next race. He wants to go into the semi-finals. He wants a bronze medal, and he's just passed the world champion, Greg Hancock. Third place was Martin Smolinski, Chris Harris at the back, but you have to take your hat off. That was a great speedway from Ty Woofenden. Yeah. He was at the back at one stage there.
He was indeed, and I've got to say, he made his mind up early doors that, right, didn't get off the start too good, but I'm just going to let it run around the fence for 4 laps, and it plays big dividends. A very vital win for Ty Woofenden.
3 points to Woofenden. Hancock picking up a couple of points, but he's in the semi-finals now. He's on 10. Woofenden back in contention on 5 now, with Smolinski in third place there. Harris trailing in at the back. Good stuff from Woofenden. Great speedway.
And in fine style, spectacular style in actual fact. Makes an awful start. Got to say that Greg Hancock is absolutely sensational out in front. Nigel just having a look at my programme, and I've put him off because I seem to have lost interest in it. It is a mess, yeah. I can't apologise enough. But here we go again. Look at Woofenden. This is brave stuff round the outside. Oh, Smolinski, that's a brave move from him. He causes all sorts of trouble for Harris. But Hancock round the inside, spectacular style from Woofenden. Long tracking it almost right round the kickboards here. And, he's up against the world champion there on the inside of him, and he leaves him plenty of racing room. And Woofenden giving himself a lifeline of a top 8 and a semi-final slot with one more ride to come.
Yeah, and he's on 117 points now, with Nicky Pedersen also on 117. Could we have a run-off for the bronze medal?
Wouldn't be a surprise, yeah. But this man, of course, Kasperzak, coming out in the red helmet colour, he may have something to say about that. He might be involved, but at the moment he's in second place in the World Championship on 121. Greg Hancock, of course, comfortably now as world champion, still piling the points in. Top 8, look how close it is. Jonsson's ridden beautifully, and Jarek Hampel also has done a great job. But this man, Lindgren, pressure on, Nigel. We've been talking about it all night long. The focus of attention is on the medal positions, with that man, of course, Kasperzak, looking, hunting down a silver medal, which would be a great achievement. But you've got to say, Lindgren on the outside, he needs a win, needs it.
Yeah, he's only got 2 points as well, so when it comes to the battle for the top 8, it helps if you can get into the semi-final and give yourself an extra ride.
Yeah, it does. Yes.
Kasperzak, Bier, Janowski and Lindgren. Lindgren under huge pressure, 5 points off the top 8 now. Now going into that first turn, it's Christoph Kasperzak who's made a good start. Bier switches up the inside, Lindgren is there as well, charging hard, challenging Christoph Kasperzak. They almost clashed, or they maybe did clash. Tough to see from here, but my goodness, it was close. And Kasperzak is going as wide as Woofenden. Now he's switched up the inside. He's passed Bier on the inside, and Lindgren's at the back. Now he's challenging Janowski, but Christoph Kasperzak at his very best here.
Absolutely fantastic opening lap from Christoph Kasperzak. Lindgren's out of shape, relegated to the back with Janowski pushing him so hard. That's desperate for the Swedish rider.
He won't finish in the top 8 now. He's out of it for next year, Lindgren.
Oh, that's a bit of disappointment for him. It just hasn't worked out on the night. Just sense the pressure's got to him. He may have some sort of issue with the bike in actual fact, but Kasperzak, an outstanding effort from him, looking like he's going to get a silver medal here this evening.
Well, Christoph Kasperzak on his way to a stunning victory. He's done it the hard way, battling his way past Kenneth Bier with Magic Janowski at the back. Freddie Lindgren coming round to complete the race, but perhaps feeling now that his Grand Prix career is about to come to an end, for the time being at least, after 84 Grand Prix appearances. Lindgren now is adrift of the top 8 by 5 points, and he will only have one more ride tonight, so he cannot close that gap. Kasperzak, Bier, Janowski and Lindgren, the finishing order. That was a tough race. Everyone is, isn't it?
It is. There's so much riding on it, and you've got to say that Nicky Pedersen looking good. Kasperzak rocketing up the table into 4th, and unfortunately for Freddie Lindgren, just the 2 points. Well, Kasperzak was outstanding there. You've got to say he's had second places all night long up until here, and this is something quite special indeed. It's such a competitive race with Pierre around the inside, who hits the front momentarily, and look how tight it is down the back straight with Lindgren really getting carved up. Coming out of the last corner on the opening lap as they start the second lap, it's a great move from Kasperzak. This is early in the race, of course, and then he switches to the inside, and as they go over the start and finish line, he's able to make that move. It's a clean move up the inside from the Polish rider, and KK, who will obviously would have loved to have been world champion, but the next best is being vice champion, and it looks like it's going his way this evening because, again, Nicky Pedersen timing his win very well. That's an excellent ride from Christoph Kasperzak and Freddie Lindgren out the back. Peter Johns, of course, there, another Peter Johns customer, and they're riding well, and a bit of advice coming for him. Looking like he could well have the 1-2 in the world once again for PJR Racing. Here we see it. Hancock 137, Kasperzak on 124 with Woofenden and Pedersen neck and neck for the bronze medal. But Woofenden, if he wants to make a real impact, of course, he's under the pressure because he needs to make the semi-finals this evening. And there's the rest of them with Hampel back in 8th place on 94, and of course Andreas Jonsson doing great guns on 96.
Yeah, superb speedway here tonight. What a meeting as well. I think when we look at all the issues, Kelvin, in terms of the top 8, qualification for next year, the bronze medal, the world title as well, I think perhaps that takes off what has been a fantastic speedway meeting as well. We almost overlook the racing and the standard of the racing because we're more bothered about our programs and who's going to finish where.
It's a difficult balance, isn't it, to find. You've got to keep on top of the point scoring situation, and you know, I do believe you're doing rather a good job at that. You're better at maths than me, but
and handwriting by the look of your program.
I've failed in that regard very badly, but no, the racing has been absolutely exceptional. And on a night like tonight, the weather's a balmy weather. It's almost summer here. Normally it's quite chilly at this time of year in Poland, but it's been a super evening. Track conditions ideal. Holder, who has rediscovered his form, is quite relaxed here tonight. He looks like he's relishing racing again and enjoying himself after working awfully hard to make sure he'll be around next year, and that's right. You know, you don't want a rider of his class missing out too often. But yeah, the racing has been terrific, and I'm sure we're going to see the best to come. I think the best is to come.
Yeah, very much so. Zagar's had a tough night, Kelvin, hasn't he?
He has, and Matti Zagar, who's had his high moments, he's started well on a win, and then subsequently has scored just 2 points from his next 3. So he's out of the inside where he won his first race from. So Zagar, who really could do with a win in his last one to make sure he gets to the semi-final and get to 8 points. 2 race wins involved in that, that would be enough. Pedersen, of course, he's had a good night. You know, he's struggled in the recent Grand Prix. He hasn't made semi-finals. He's had some frustration with exclusions. But Nicky, you know, he's on 10 points. He's at the top of the table right now with 2 wins in his last 2 rides. And again, showing the character that you can only tip your hat to. Nicky is a never say die man, and once again he could walk away from this series with a medal, which would be, well, he'll be chuffed to bits with that, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. What a night we've had here. Superb speedway and terrific stuff as well, but it is, when you look at the permutations and the standings, you know, it's been switching, and we've got 4 heats of the qualification to go, then the semi-finals and the final. Yeah. And I think this has been consistently, race for race, one of the best meetings of the season.
Well, it's hard to argue against that because the track conditions are so good, even when there hasn't been passing. You know, the speed of it takes your breath away around here, and it's a wonderful track. Anybody designing a new track needs to come here because there isn't too much wrong with it, with the banking and the width of the track, and the preparation is just outstanding.
Well, Nicky Pedersen is with our man Chris Louis.
Nicky, the pressure's on, but you've had a fantastic night. You've made the semi-finals already, but it's all about the points, isn't it?
It's all about the 3rd place, you know. That's the whole key. It hasn't been working for several Grand Prix, you know, so we clocking in and stay focused, and hopefully we keep the setup.
We're seeing the starts again, some cracking starts tonight so far.
Yeah, but I think everybody's difficult from start. There ain't anything up there. The rods ain't there, but so far so good, so I keep the focus and do my best.
Racing for a medal, but you can't cover this track, can you? You've just got to go out, get your head down and go as fast as you can.
You can't cover anything. You got to do your own lines and know what you want to do. If you're not there committed, you know, after 3 laps they get you.
Thanks, Nicky.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a tough racetrack. It's one of those sort of places where you can never really be comfortable out in front because you can generate a lot of speed out there. And as he rightly just said, you can just have to focus on your own race. If you start worrying on what's going on behind you, generally you kill your speed and end up getting past. So full credit to Pedersen. He's got a tough last ride, but he's got 10 points, so he's giving himself a very good chance of a medal tonight.
Yeah,
big race for Woofenden.
It is a big race because he needs a win. It's win or bust, really, you feel.
Yeah, 5 points from 4.
Yeah, he needs to extend his night.
He does. If he wants a medal, he's got to win here. Otherwise, it could well be that he misses out on the top 3.
Well, Mickey's in the semis already. He's on 10 points.
So he needs to do it. Here we see the standings, Nigel. With Pedersen guaranteed 1 more ride or 2 more rides this evening. Woofenden coming up for his last programmed ride. If he wants a semi-final slot, needs another ride. Needs another win. He was very spectacular last time.
Yeah, it was entertaining stuff, has to be said. And, well, terrific speedway. And really enjoying the action here in this Marianne Rose Arena here in Torun. And, again, huge crowd. Really
what a venue.
A great venue. Yeah.
What a venue. You cannot, when you walk in the place, it really is, even when it's empty, it's a sight to behold. And I've got to say, we bumped into so many old faces out the back in the pit area, didn't we, earlier on this evening? It was, you know, it really does pull people back to the sport that have been maybe away for some time. We saw Carl Stone here, of course, a Grand Prix star from the past. Terrific to see Carl out here. And lots of friends from years gone by. And I say, I'm sure they're all thoroughly enjoying the evening.
Yeah, very much so. I remember Mark Lauren's interview last year. Why do you enjoy Poland so much? He said cheap beer.
Well, there's that as well, of course. Consider.
Please drink responsibly.
Indeed, and I'm sure we all do. But no, it's a super place to come to. And we're about to get back on with the action with heat number 17 coming up. And again, there's plenty to focus on.
Yeah, very much so. Freddie Lindgren, we know, cannot make the top 8 now. He has run out of time. Andreas Jonsson, then, we know, is secure for the top 8.
Yeah, great job.
For next year. It's an amazing job from him. Well, I say secure. Troy Batchelor's 5 points behind him. But AJ is going to kick on here. We see confirmation of the top 4 right now. But Andreas Jonsson, it really has been a dramatic turnaround for AJ. He's in the semi-finals as well. He's got 10 points tonight. He's on 96 points. Troy Batchelor himself has got 6, so he still needs points if he's going to extend his evening. So here we go, heat 17. Heat 17 of an extraordinary night. Matti Zegaard has to get a result here. He's only got 5 points to his name. If he wants a bronze medal, gate 2 is Andreas Jonsson in blue, Freddie Lindgren, gate 3 in white, and Ty Woofenden going off the outside in yellow, the outgoing world champion. A night that has seen so many people travel a long way to be here tonight.
Yeah.
Kelvin just referred to the former Grand Prix rider Carl Stone here, who's made the journey here. Gary Havelock, the 1992 world champion. Mark Loram has made the trip from the UK as well. It really has captured the imagination. Woofenden's moved. Did he touch the tapes? I wonder. The red lights are on straight away.
No surprise there. Tense, nervous times on the start. You've got to say that Freddie Lindgren there was just a little bit too eager to get away. Big race here for Zegaard and Woofenden. Both those riders are chasing a medal, and they need a big result here. Yeah, movement from Woofenden on the outside, though. He kind of penalises himself. Green light's on now. They're concentrating on the magnet. Yeah, he jumps, but he does miss the start. He's very fortunate not to have touched the tapes there.
Yeah, that was what I was waiting for, really.
Yeah.
Krista Gardell, the referee, we can see he's having a look at the replays. It's all 4 riders is the verdict. But, yeah, I think that perhaps that's a measure that Woofy is feeling a bit of pressure here to get that bronze medal.
I sensed that in his last ride. Probably got 2 minutes. It's we met some new friends just prior to coming on air, and they're from Meridian Lifts. And got to give a shout out to Lindsay and Georgia at home, who are enjoying the action. I'm sure they're glued to their television sets. It has been an exciting night of Speedway, and all the twists and turns. I'm sure not many people are turning off. They're struggling even to pop out and have a cup of tea at times, because it really has been an exciting night.
I would say there's got to be about 200 fans from Great Britain here tonight.
Yeah, it's a great turnout, and we did a Q&A earlier on today where, you know, there was 100 people in the room, absolutely relishing the upcoming evening at that stage. And I've got to say that, you know, people come here in their droves, they thoroughly enjoy it. And it's very convenient. You can fly into Bydgoszcz. It's only 40 minutes down the road to Torun, and Torun's a lovely town. It's got plenty to offer for people.